dollars bailout, 10 things the IMF still wants Ghana to do. That would be an interesting read. IMF approves Ghana or approves final review of Ghana's $3 billion bailout program. That issue is also big on our table this morning. Well, later we engage the finance experts right here on the morning show. Now, Red Maria Task Force intercepts 170 parcels of suspected Indian hemp. And Wontumi apologizes to Mahama First Lady, appeals for clemency. Okay, that's another big story that is coming in there. And yesterday, a lot of the MPP stalwarts actually stormed court when Wontumi appeared in court yesterday with regards to the Exim Bank issue, which we understand that Atachi has stepped in to take over, in terms of his legal representation in courts. Right, let's check out what Mind Joy Online is also reporting this morning. And it says that we are not seeking Mahama's third term. And that's according to Ken Kranchi, who has separated the case from the 2028 politics or the 2028 election. Mahama beyond 2028, Ken Kranchi says Supreme Court must settle constitutional ambiguity. 170 parcels of suspected Indian hemp seized in Tamale as 2 are arrested. And then government probes reported recruitment of Ghanaians into Russia-Ukraine war. That's according to Okujetua Blakwa, the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Constitution has a genuine ambiguity. Ken Kranchi opens fresh debate on Mahama's third term eligibility. Okay, it appears Ken Kranchi's court issue with regards to whether or not President Mahama can still go for a third term has generated a lot of debate online, especially if you visit Mind Joy Online this morning. The stories are widely circulating there. But of course, the man has said that he's not interested in any third term, bid. So I think that at this point in time, we should actually put the issue to rest. And Wontumi apologizes to Mahama, 6th presidential clemency. That story is also found when you visit Mind Joy Online this morning. Checking out what 3news.com is also reporting. And it would serve Ghana better if half of the 1.7 billion Ghana cedis for expressway is invested in existing road networks. And that's according to the GIH, that's the GHIE president. Archbishop of Canterbury, Damisara Mulali, pays courtesy call on President Mahama. CEMC, that CEMSE welcomes 6 billion Ghana cedis power sector allocation, warns that poor revenue collection threatens reforms. Ibrahim Mahama has not expressed interest in securing equity capitalization in Vaco. That's according to Giadec. And illegal miners encroach on Obuasi airstrip. Those stories are big on the homepage of 3news.com this morning. Interior Minister charges new audit committee to pursue implementation of recommendation. Okay, that story is also there. And integrity is the foundation of justice, public trust, and national development. And that's according to the Chief Justice there. The High Street Journal this morning. Interesting stories, of course. Whenever you visit the High Street Journal, Capex becomes the sacrificial lamb as government seeks new funding for Gold Board. Is sacrifice worth taking? The High Street Journal this morning is asking. Can fiscal discipline be sustained beyond the current administration? The abuse of CD notes and coins, how replacement is bleeding Ghana annually. And World Bank warns AI could trigger next financial crisis. And you want to check out the highstreetjournal.com this morning for details of these stories that have been captured on the front page or the homepage of the High Street Journal. And Capex becomes, like I said, the sacrificial lamb. It's also on the front page. The abuse of the CD and all of that. High Street Journal has quite a number of stories on business and what have you. So for the business community, definitely you want to check out what the High Street Journal this morning has been up to. To the biggest online news portal in Ghana this morning, classfmonline.com, and definitely you want to check out classfmonline.com this morning for the latest updates in politics and sports, in whatever issues that you are concerned in or whatever sector your interest actually lies in. Just check out classfmonline.com this morning, and we have a lot of stories to actually serve your interest. But if you check out the homepage this morning, overall we have 30 prosecutable cases, and that's according to Deputy Attorney General, who is signaling fresh legal action. 30. Over 200 Vaco workers protest planned sale of company amid job loss fears. Now, judges are in an ambulance mood to jail politicians. That's according to the legal representative for Chairman Wuntumi, lawyer Ata Achia there. Government pays 537 million Ghana cedis to fund no fee stress policy. And that's according to Education Minister Muntaka Mubarak. Prison is not the answer to free speech abuse. Lawyer Samson Ayenini is actually speaking there. He has a beautiful write-up in that regard. You want to check out classfmonline.com this morning. And there's also a story on the late Daddy Lumba. And it says that late Daddy Lumba's splash burial site unveiled for the first time. Okay, and I understand that it's almost a year since his demise. With all the controversies surrounding his burial and what have you, it's almost a year. So you see how time actually runs fast. If you have anything to do, before you could say Jack, a year is just 12 months too. And a month is how many days? A month is 30, 31 days maximum. And so if you have anything to do, sometimes, and of course 28 days sometimes. So if you have anything to do, you should know that you have time is of the essence. And so you need to quicken up with whatever you are doing. Anyway, so that story is also on the front page, or the homepage, I should say, of classfmonline.com. Okar Foundation holds maiden donation at Countryside Children's Home. Now, government secures 200 jobs for Ghanaians returning from South Africa. And of course, even as government is on a mission to repatriate a lot of our folks in South Africa, government says that they have some 200 job slots available for them. What do you make of the development? And I also think that if these job slots or these job availabilities are there, it is important for same to also be extended to the ordinary Ghanaian, so that, by and large, we can all get something to do, because, of course, the unemployment rate is nothing to write home about. But it's just gratifying to hear that some more of our persons or our folks in South Africa are being extradited back into the country. Now, Ghana secures first medal at 2026 Commonwealth Games. Ibrahim Mahama denies interest in Valco acquisition, threatens legal action. Okay, so that's those are some of the big stories on the homepage of classfmonline.com this morning. Let me cross over to the other side and speak to the lady in pink. Is it pink? What color is that? No, it's not pink. Am I colorblind? Elizabeth Adu. What do you call this color? Hi, how are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How did your night go?
It was okay. Yeah.
I see. That's a good one. So what color is that?
I think it's pink. It's pink.
Oh, it's pink.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it one of your favorite colors?
No.
What's your favorite color, though?
I don't have a favorite color. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's good to see you again. It's good to see you again. I mean, we went to sleep on knowing of whether or not would be back again, but Grace has found us. We are here this morning. Aren't you thankful?
Yeah.
Anyway, so what do you have? What papers do you have? And what is there to know as far as what you are reporting this morning is concerned?
So I have the daily graphics on the front page. ICU petitions Bahama over Valco proposed sale. Then 4 years after explosion at Piate, victims suffer in relief camp. I get the full story on page 3. Then doctor uses 20,000 Ghana cedis cash reward to equip Paga Hospital. Then Ghana completes IMF bailout final 360 million US dollars of 3 billion US dollars approved. It has a picture of Dr. Kesala Forsen on the front page. Then on the back page of the daily graphic sports, Ghana chases medal in athletics boxing day. So that is what I have here.
That's with regards to the daily graphic this morning.
Yeah.
And a lot of the newspapers have actually carried a lot of stories, with regards to President Mahama, whether or not he would want to go for a third term or whether or not he's eligible to go for a third term. I think we would want to delve into that story. I don't know if you have that detail in the daily graphic this morning. Okay, sometimes, website can actually fail you. Internet. Technical would have to come and watch this for me.
But before you bring that in, let's do story on page 3.
Okay.
That is 4 years after explosion at Piate.
The Apiante people.
Victims suffer in relief camps. So more than 300 people still live in horrible conditions at a relief camp at Apiate near the Bogoso in the Christian Valley municipality in the western region. 4 years after mining explosive reduced the community to rubble. Although government relocated some of the residents who were displaced after January 2022, explosion back to the reconstructed Apiate township. The others have been left to their fate, with the phase 3 of the rehabilitation effort in limbo. A good number of the victims still live at the relief camp because of the lack of accommodation in the new town. With the rainy season at its peak, they are at the mercy of the weather as some of the roofs leak, while the poor drainage infrastructure in the area have left behind stagnant water and campers lack access to potable water, compelling them to rely on unclean water for domestic use. Their plight has been compounded by the supply of electricity to the camp, a situation that compels them to sleep in darkness. A member of the Apiate Disaster Relief Committee, Maria Pia, told the Daily Graphic that the fate of the affected residents hung in balance because dozens of the houses were supposed to be built as part of phase 3 of the APT reconstruction project had not been done. The spokesperson for the victim of the APT phase 3, Kingsford Philip Amponsa, said it was disappointing that more than 4 years after the calamity, some of the victims of the disaster had been left to their fate. So it continues to on page 13 of the Daily Graphic. So, and threatened injuries have also been have not received any form of compensation, he said. He added that efforts made by the association to know the current state of the local fund set up to support the victims' livelihood restoration had not yielded any fruit. So that is the latest on the Apiate disaster, that explosion disaster that happened in the Bogoso Pristia Valley on January 2022. So yeah,
I
so that's
see.
the latest on that.
And if I recall, and if my memory serves me well, there was a time, was it Dr. Baumia or the SWAL administration,
Yeah.
I should say, actually developed an area for the victims or those who were affected, isn't it?
Yeah, so that is what they are talking about. That's the phase 1 and 2 is done. So it's left with the phase 3 that is supposed to be done for them to move, and that is what it has been stalled and make leaving people to live in the camps. Yeah, so that is so they are calling on government to come to their aid.
I see. Well, we hope that government actually listens and actually hears their cry this morning and rises up
Yeah,
to
it's
the
been
occasion
4 years.
because 4 years already.
Yeah.
And you see, that's what I was just talking about. And Amir has joined us in studio. I was just talking about the fact that a year is just 12 months, and this APT issue we're just talking about it recently, and it's
Yeah.
4 years or almost 4 years
Four
already.
years.
4 years already. It feels just like yesterday when we're talking about this whole thing. So you see, if you have anything to do in life and you don't quicken up, time would definitely not be on your side.
Oh, time is always running.
Yeah. Anyway, Elizabeth, what more do we have?
So Parliament begins debate on the media first policy review today. House adjourns on Friday. So Parliament will today begin debate on the media fiscal policy review presented to the House by the Finance Minister Dr. Kiseo Atoforsin last Thursday. The leader of the government business and majority leader Mahama Yariga announced this when he presented a business statement for the 11th week ending Friday, July 31. He said the debate would run throughout the week, with the minority and majority leaders expected to conclude the commentary on Thursday's July 30 mid-year budget review. And is also as part of the debate, Mahama Yariga said 3 ministers would appear before the House to answer a total of 31 questions. They are the ministers for the environment, science and technology, health and energy, and who will answer 10, 10 and 11 questions respectively. He said one of the questions was an urgent question, while the remaining 30 were oral questions. The majority leader added that ministers would also be permitted to make statements on the government policy in accordance with the standing orders of Parliament. He further indicated that bills, papers and committees report would be presented during the week, with urgent bills being taken through the required stages in one in a one day where necessary. So the committee work is also urged, Mahama Yariga urged parliamentary committees to use the upcoming recess to clear outstanding referrals before them. He said there were currently 520 referrals before 27 committees for consideration and report. On the adjournment, Mahama Yariga also announced that Parliament was expected to adjourn Senate DA on Friday, July 31, bringing the second meeting of the second session of the ninth Parliament to close. He urged members of Parliament to remain committed to the scheduled business before the House rises. So that is
Okay.
a communique from the majority leader on things that will be happening within the week before this week before Parliament rises on Friday.
But of course, as usual, as expected, anytime the budget or the SONA or anything of that sort is read, I beg your pardon, on the floor of Parliament, the ensuing week is actually set aside for debating it. So, interesting times in the House today. I'm expecting to hear a lot of sound bites, from the floor of Parliament today, especially. But definitely, Alpenyo Markin and then Mahama Yariga would have their pound of flesh this Thursday. And that's what would be the crescendo or the height of it as far as the debate is concerned. I've heard some people say that this budget statement or this media budget that was reviewed, that was read on the floor of Parliament, carries a lot of weight. The likes of Franklin Kujo, of Imani Ghana and Co., who a lot of people have engaged in a banter with on social media. I think that at the end of the day, you have your own opinion, and opinions are like, we say, a pair of shoes. You decide which one to actually wear. So if he's decided that he will go this way, why would people have an issue with him? And I've also heard some people say that, and especially the minority in Parliament, say that, well, this budget, media budget that was read on the floor of Parliament holds nothing, and that it is even the worst that they've ever seen since the 2016 one. Let's see how things actually go, even as the House actually readies itself to debate the budget statement that was read on the floor of Parliament sometime last week, was it Thursday or so. But I'm interested, Elizabeth and Amir, I'm interested in this story that has found its way onto the GhanaWeb.com this morning, and it says that watch as fish is kept near refuse dump in Tema Newtown. Watch as fish is kept near refuse dump in Tema Newtown. So, a video shared on social media by the Bastard Boys has raised concerns over the way fish is handled at Tema Newtown. In a footage cited by Ghana Web on July 27, 2026, a member of the volunteer group expressed worry over the storage of fish amid sanitation concerns. So the video captures the fish being stored close to a dump site where some people are also seen engaging in open defecation, raising concerns about hygiene and the possible health risks to consumers.
I mean, it's still the attitude of Ghanaians, because I don't think they just started, all of a sudden. So it's been there. Nobody's talking about it. They just see it happening. Until the Bastard Boys went there, nobody would have known about it. But it's happening. It has been happening over the time. But
the point then again is, you recall last week, sometime last week or so, Elizabeth, I stand to be corrected, the FDA has been embarking on a crackdown mission, so to speak.
Yes.
Checking some of these, compliance with some of their regulations as far as some of these restaurants, eateries, cold stores, and what have you, water or sachet water producing companies are concerned. And I had a take on this very issue on a piece of my mind sometime last week, that look, if the regulatory bodies in the country are up and doing, we shouldn't be finding these things, because you see, the point is, ultimately this fish would find its way onto our plates.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't know where you are consuming whatever you are consuming. You don't know the source of them. When I saw the video yesterday, and if online can actually put the video online and you can go there to check, oh my God.
I mean, it's a bad attitude, and the thing is, the people who are doing it, do we have to tell you to do the right thing before you know that you have to do the right thing?
The point is that they don't want you to even tell them, because it is about making money.
So you make money at the expense of the people when you know that what you are doing could cause, various diseases, which will surely come back to you. Because, if people are falling sick, it doesn't only affect the people, it affects the society. So definitely it will come back to you, whether you are the one even, you can sell this fish to maybe strangers and they will eat and all that. But this same fish can get to the schools where your children are.
Definitely, but so the point is that a lot of people do not really concern themselves about how you and I are thinking. It is the usual thing. It's about making money. You saw the videos that were circulated as far as the FDA exercise is concerned.
Yeah.
Look at how sachet water producing companies were sourcing water from, a dilapidated water source, which looked like a well with all the algae and all of that on it. Those green stuff on the surface of the water. They source it from there. If it is coming from Ghana water, you know that they have the treatment plants and they subject it to certain rigorous treatment procedure before it flows through our taps. Even that, we've had concerns. Sometimes there are concerns about where these pipelines are and what have you, because sometimes they leak. You find some of them in gutters and all of that, and so they leak. And so you are not careful, or you are not really sure about what you are consuming into your body. Look at these sachet water producing companies and where they were sourcing water from. That aside, we saw another video where the FDA officials had also visited a facility that's a cold store.
Yeah.
And you look at the chicken that was being bagged or that was being packaged for onward distribution, to persons who have gone to buy them. And definitely these persons will bring it into our localities.
Yeah.
You go to the cold store, the area cold store, to buy from them. It looked expired. It looked like, it looked reddish.
It doesn't look it. It is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, the point is that, yes, that's the point I'm making. So it is sport.
Yes.
It is sport. And yet these people still find a way of selling them. It is about the wickedness of people in society. It is about the fact that we don't care about what implications there are for our folks or the community. We are just interested in making money now, and we forget about it. You forget about the fact that when you sell these expired products to people out there and they consume it, it is the same people that you would expect to come back to buy from you. And if they are not healthy, who is going to purchase from you? I think over the period, the regulatory bodies have been sleeping. So I made a call that the FDA, it is important for the FDA to sustain the gains made so far, or to continue with the campaign in this regard, to ensure that we deal with some of these persons in society.
I've been saying this, for a time now, that one of our diseases as a people or as a nation is that we start something for a week and then we leave it. Or we start it, we do it for maybe, close to a month. Sometimes it doesn't even last a month. And then we leave it. Like you are just saying, the FDA is supposed to do this continuously. It's supposed to happen all the time. That is their responsibility. They can also form, nowadays it has become a fashion that you form task force and all these things. They can also form their task force that every particular week you are doing these operations. Because you see, until we keep something going consistently, we will surely find these things happening all the time. Yes, of course, it is the wickedness of people. That's the first thing, because you yourself, the person who is doing this, you must know that what you're doing is wickedness. In fact, it is not just wickedness, it is witchcraft. Yes, because how can you just know that this thing that you're doing is wrong? It can cause diseases, it can kill people, it is harmful, and you still do it. You know that this thing is inimical to the health of people, and then you still do it. Just because you want money. Like what you are just saying, that it looked reddish and the thing is spoiled. It's already spoiled. But to throw them away, he or she will not do it. He wants to sell it to the people.
Because he or she bought them with money.
But it's spoiled.
And he doesn't want to lose the money that he's invested so far. And so I'll pass it on to the consumer.
So that the people will fall sick, some will die. And then
see, let me just, maybe if I can let me burst your bubble. Let me burst your bubble the more this morning. Years ago, I used to eat from a certain restaurant sometime when I was in the Eastern region. And I would go there and buy my usual chicken, because I buy the fufu, you get some chicken, and that kind of, I love my fufu actually. And I didn't know it wasn't chicken I was consuming.
But what?
It was
water.
It was
water.
It
actually.
was
Really.
So you see,
how did you know?
Okay, so some time back, after, I think it was somebody who actually blew the whistle to the police, personnel there, or the police station there, and they had to do some exercise. So as early as 4 a.m., they pitched camp around there was a slaughterhouse around the area that provided or that supplied meat to some of these restaurants in the area. So they pitched camp there to actually monitor the activities, and they realized that, because of the fact that they slaughtered animals there, the remains, the carcass and all of that is being preyed on by these vultures, and a lot of them, I should say, that are undergoing extinction. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yes.
We are not seeing vultures like we used to see them those days in the past. But so they pitched camp there, and then they realized that these persons who are at the slaughterhouse shot, or they had a way of harvesting these vultures. Then they kill them, or they harvest them quickly, and then they dress them as quick as possible and prepare them for onward distribution to consumers. So you go there as a restaurant operator, you want to go and buy some of these meat products. You go there, and then you are presented with something that looks sumptuous. You see it and you think that it's chicken. So it appears that over the period, because I was working there, and over the period, it appears that we were actually consuming vulture unknowing to us.
Wow.
And before the police could say jack, the operator had fled the shores of the country.
So you were consuming,
I'm telling you,
vulture for how long?
In fact, for close to 3 years.
Oh, how does it taste?
I don't want to describe it. No. I'm not going to promote anything on this platform. No.
You can just share.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember.
But I mean, we're laughing over it. But I think we must clamp down on this. Something must be done by the authorities. If the people themselves are doing something wrong and they have accepted that they will do the wrong thing, the authorities, what are they doing? That thing where today when I was coming, I was thinking about this thing. I mean, where I passed, you see, the AMA would go and then ask the traders, or let's say walk the traders away from, the pavement and all these things, and clear them and all that.
Yeah.
Then I was coming and I was looking at the situation, and they are back. And I was asking myself,
they had what they called, so they drew some red line.
Yes.
So that was like the boundary. You don't cross it, but a lot of them have crossed it.
Oh no, now they have crossed it.
I was having a conversation with my brother, the PRO for AMA, Gilbert. Gilbert, let me say good morning to you this morning. And I told him that, look, Gilbert, the people have crossed the boundary. They've broke into the territory where you've told them not to actually go into. And so the red line, when you go there, you're not fine, because they've actually placed their tables and stuff on the red line, so you don't find them.
And this is typical Ghanaian. Because what the AMA was doing was to protect all of us, or was to help all of us. And because they are now not coming, you as a natural person, a human being that God has created and giving you the wisdom of knowing right from wrong and wrong from right, you decide to do the wrong thing. These same people will go abroad and they will never attempt what they are doing here in Ghana. They will never do it.
To go there and do that. No, they can't.
Yeah. So I can't just. Today I was very, very.
Where were you?
Flabbergasted.
Where were you? Where did you observe this?
Circle. Just our popular circle. They go, they come back. They go, they come back until the authorities get there and start. Doing some things, and they will now be crying and all these things. But you yourself, you know that this is not right.
You know my problem. As far as all of these issues are concerned. We tend to pay lip service, to some of these developments. Okay? You find the regulatory bodies, it is always about something happening, then they move in, and then they show off as though they are doing something. I've always said here that as a country, we've never been proactive. We are always reactive. We wait for the issue to happen, and then we react to it. When you get to the Circle area, Circle have consistently been talking about things that have been happening at Circle. When you get to Circle, a lot of things have been happening there. Look at the pile of rubbish that you even find along the wayside or the roadside.
Yeah.
It is as if no one cares about it.
Yeah.
It is as if that place is a lawless state. Anything goes on there.
Yeah.
Look at how people are actually, the pickpockets and what have you, the confident tricksters, and all of them are there. And yet there are a lot of police personnel there as well to ensure our safety, you and I, our safety. But in the full glove of the police, someone could pick you and nothing could be done. It's like, it's a lawless area. Circle, there was a time I read a post on social media where somebody was saying that, you see, Circle can be likened to a place in Nigeria where some of these things happen. But I thought that perhaps some of these things were so far from us until I grew up. And I realized that, look, if you get to Circle, everything, like we say, everything happens there.
Yeah.
And no one cares about it. So we have a country where you would expect city authorities to ensure that what is now known, or what we have widely termed as the Circle Dubai, is widely kept clean. And yet we do nothing about it. We wait for the rains to set in. We wait for the odor to outflow its banks because it's been silted all the way up. Once it outflows its banks and then the place gets flooded, then we have city authorities move there with the cameras and then, deliver speeches, beautiful speeches and what have you. And then it ends there. We don't do anything as a people. We don't do anything. So the regulatory bodies in the country, for me, to a large extent, a lot of them have been sleeping.
They have failed, not
yes,
just sleeping. They have failed. They are just in the offices collecting money at the end of the month as salary, and that is it. And when you talk about it, then they will come at you that our government hasn't provided us with the resources and all that. And
so,
blah, blah,
so what
blah,
are
blah.
you doing there as a CEO? What are you doing there? If government hasn't provided, then it means that if you can't think outside the box in terms of being innovative in your approach to dealing with the issues which very much sit within your mandate as a CEO, as a MC, as a MMDC or whatever, the issues that very much sit within your mandate. If you can't think outside the box, then what are you doing there in the first place? You should lay down your tools and go and say that, look, I expect A, B, and C from government, but government is not forthwith or is not forthcoming with the things that I expect government to do. And so I'm laying down my tools. We should have people who have integrity to protect in this country. I mean, it is difficult to actually find.
Apparently, we have less people who have such integrity. How many people resign from their positions because they have failed? How many? Let's start with our politicians. They make, they make flamboyant promises. They cannot, accomplish their promises, or let's say fulfill their promises, and then what happens? Nothing. They'll give you excuses upon excuses to remain in office. So, there's a lot. In fact, the task force, the AMA task force, what are they supposed to do? Or what is their mandate? Are they not supposed to be on the streets as we are talking right now? So where are they?
Are they the Abai?
Yes, they are those who wear the uniform and all. Are they not supposed to be on the streets? Checking these things, checking that people are falling in line and not flouting the orders. Are they not supposed to be doing that? Where are they? After, so you see, what we see is that the AMA boss will, mobilize them, come on a day, they will do their showmanship or however you want to put it, and then they go back. But these task forces that have been initiated, they have been given a mandate to ensure that these people do not cross the line, or to ensure that these people are disciplined. So after that day that the AMA and then the task force, they came out and did what they did, where are the people? Where is where are the people or the personnel? Where are they?
That's a big one. And this morning, we're talking generally about our attitude as a people, and with more specific regards to do with this video that is widely circulating on social media with fish that is being stocked or, kept close
so what's the update on it?
A dam site. We would engage the FDA. ERA is actually working on the lines now. We would engage, hopefully we get them to understand whether or not the development has come to their attention, and perhaps also expand the conversation whether we would see a continued crackdown on some of these facilities in the country. Because yesterday, for instance, I bought sachet water. Whether sachet water, whether bottled water, or what have you, you still don't know where you are drinking or what water you are drinking, and the source of same. And so I bought sachet water, and in fact I was really thirsty. And when you are thirsty and you are suffering or you've suffered a misgiving from the sun, the passion, so to speak, with which you actually gulp in the water, and that passion wasn't there. While I was drinking, I was asking myself, what am I taking in? What am I taking in? Where was the water sourced from? What am I consuming into my body? How detrimental or otherwise is it going to be to me? Because see, Ameyao, you get to our hospitals and there are a lot of conditions that people are diagnosed of on a daily basis. Someone said that you don't know you are sick until you go to the hospital, and they will tell you that you are sick. Sometimes you go to the hospital, you are one person who has been so careful about what you eat so that you don't contract sickness. And yet you go to the hospital and they tell you that you've contracted typhoid. And you ask yourself, how did I come into contact with anything contaminated? But you see, the point is that all of these stuff that we take on a daily basis, because of the fact that the regulatory bodies have been sleeping and not doing anything as regards their mandate to safeguard you and I, we tend to buy whatever we see on the market, consume them, and then it goes. And look at, and those ones, I don't know how, under whose, jurisdiction or supervision they fall under. Those hawkers who they don't just hawk on the street. Now, when you get to 37, for instance, what do we call that? Is it sweet bad, or what is it?
Yeah.
Sweet bad. That's it, yeah? That's the right name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they just display them like that in the open.
Oh.
So the cars are passing by, emitting fumes and what have you, and everything settles on it. People are just walking around, people are talking anyhow, and then everything, the dust and everything settles on it. You don't know what you are buying. But for the fact that you are hungry, you just go there and then you buy it. And then you consume. You don't know what you are consuming into your body. You go to the hospital and you are told that you have this condition. And then you have to contend with that for years. It's a serious situation.
But the sachet water producers, and other people and all that, I want to find out, do they fall under an authority?
Definitely.
So it means that before you can operate such a business, you need permission.
In fact, your company would have to be registered. You need permission or licensing. What do you call it? There are times we play advert and then you hear this advert. It's FDA approved. You need the approval from the Food and Drugs Authority. And then I think the municipality where you're operating, you need to get some licensing from the municipal or the district authority there, where officials will constantly come around. And you see, that's also a different side of the conversation.
Yes.
My mom actually has a supermarket somewhere where we were in the eastern region, and she registered with the district assembly there, and officials periodically would come round and renew it and check. Sometimes they bring health officials to conduct certain tests on you to ensure that you are safe in the first place. But lately it appears those rules have been, yes, they are not there. And so the consumer is left to his or her own fate. And we have the likes of the consumer protection agencies and all of those consumer agencies that are supposed to speak for us. You don't hear of them until something happens and then they issue statements. So we are living in a state, you are just each one for himself, God for us all. Like we say.
Which shouldn't be so. Because you see, like I asked, if they fall under an authority, and of course they fall under an authority, and the authority has, the head of it. What has the head been doing all this while? When they go to work on Monday to Friday, what do they do? Because definitely they are supposed to have a team on the ground.
Monitoring team.
And if, let's just use the sachet water business, just as a case study. So if we have the sachet water businesses and you know the number, in the first place, do they even know the number of people who are operating in this sector? Do they even know? Because I don't think, those of us, who buy the sachet water and all that, I don't think when you check the sachet water, you see FDA approved. There are some that perhaps you will not see it, right? Yeah.
And so that's what the FDA says.
Yeah.
You should check all the time.
Yes, but then how many people even check? But let's even put that aside. It means that we have some of these businesses which are not, permitted by FDA, and they are operating. So I want to find out, FDA and all the other authorities, when they go to work on Monday, when they go to work on Tuesday and all that, what is the mandate? Apart from sitting in the offices with the air conditioners and all that, and actually getting large sums of money at the end of the year, or being paid large sum of money at the end of the month, what do they do on the ground? Because the ground is what these things are happening, not in the offices where they sit. And until we change that system where you just go and sit in the office and until maybe bus stop guys go and then shoot a video and then you see that, oh, this is happening somewhere, until we change that thing. Because sometimes I ask myself, how is it that they have been able to achieve it abroad? These things do not happen. Even if they do, they do happen at a very minimal rate, or however you want to put it. So if it doesn't happen that way, why can't we just replicate the same thing here? And we have authorities. Today I was coming, I checked the headquarters.
Police headquarters.
I don't know. They've removed
the Kanda area.
They've removed the traffic lights, and I don't know.
Removed.
I didn't find the traffic lights there.
Where's Zali? Where? So there's one at the intersection. Yes,
you see,
from
GIG.
Yes, from the GIG end to the police headquarters.
There used to be some traffic lights there. When I was coming this morning, I checked. It is not there.
So the poles had been taken.
The poles are there, but the lights are not there.
Maybe they are coming to replace them. Maybe.
Well, let's.
But has it affected traffic flow in the area?
I mean, in the mornings, no. In the
and especially looking at the time you come at dawn, so you wouldn't find traffic.
I wouldn't be able to tell. And when I'm leaving I see the police directing the traffic, so still I wouldn't be able to tell. However, for how long? Because I just took notice of it today. So for how long has it been there like that? And that is not the only thing. Even when you Achimota, the traffic where the papaya is situated, the traffic light there has been, in fact, that traffic light is legendary for years upon years. So I asked myself, I mean, the authorities, what do they do exactly? Because the problems are still existing. There are no new, ideas to curb these things, and they go to work every day, and every day they are going to work, and we are paying them. And of course, when you talk, they will say that this and that, they have excuses for everything. But if we all are to have excuses, then nobody should be charged for anything. Because the one who has not got the right, the permission to do that business, or the one that we are talking about right now, who is, actually parading the fish along the refuse area, that person also have an excuse for you. So if we all are going to live with excuses, then let us live with excuses and harm ourselves. But you are in office and you have been paid to ensure that these things are not happening. So you don't have that excuse. If it is personnel you need, if it is recruitment you have to do it.
You need financial clearance before recruitment.
Well, if you need all these things, fine. But I'm saying that we must put measures in place. We must be proactive for once. Do you know that the flood that we have in the almighty flood that we are trying to solve, I'm telling you for a fact that this will happen again.
Oh, but definitely, we'll come back here. We'll come back here to talk about floods.
I've been watching a place, an area at Kwabena. Do you know that when they did the national cleaning, whatever, that day, and they took the refuse and put them along the roadside and all that, till date it's still there, it has become, what's the word? Is it a cakey? Yeah,
it's hardened up.
Very, very hardened. So
yesterday I observed something like that. I don't know which constituency that would be. Doc, maybe you would help me. You know, the airport area. So when you are heading from 37 to say the Tetekwashi roundabout, we have airport first, second. You know, the bus stops where you stop along the stretch. Okay, so where the association junction is. So I found some young men doing something wonderful there. So they were taking out the silt from the gutters. They had opened them and they were taking out the silt or the sand and the dirt and everything out of it. And so of course, they dumped them by the side of the gutter. And then they had this abubuyas by the side. They pour them in and then they carry them somewhere. But this morning, I think it is not all done. I think that they are doing something good. It is just like what the bus stop boys have been doing over the period. I want to believe they are one of those guys. They are doing something. They are doing a yeoman's job. And it fits into what we've been talking about when the president actually asked, or the Greater Accra Minister actually asked, that the various MMDCs should sustain the campaign and ensuring that our drains, our surroundings and what have you are actually kept clean. You see, when you and I come here, we talk about these things. These are the very things that, would bring us the solution or the result that we want. But if you sit here and you talk about it, and the government official somewhere who is mandated or clothed with the power to ensure that he or she implements what you are talking about is not doing anything, it dampens your spirit. But yet, we still would have to do what we do as a people. We will come back here and talk about the issues. Yesterday, someone was asking me that, so a letter to the president, are you sure the president listens at all? And I'm like, well, we still have got letters to serve the president. We'll continue to serve the president. It is just like you submitting a petition to the presidency and you say that you've not heard anything. Doesn't mean that you lay down your tools and say that, well, and throw your hands in despair and say that I've not heard from the president, so I'm jettisoning my campaign. No. This country, yesterday, Mr. David Amwatin from the Traders Advocacy Group, he says that he believes the country can work again. And so we'll push it to work again.
It can work again when the people also change their attitude. Because, Charlie, I mean,
yeah. And he's back from doing his research.
We just have to talk about government. This thing I'm sharing with you in my area, actually not very close to where I stay though, but this has nothing to do with President Mahama.
Of course.
Yes. So it's the people. The people. So we have to change our attitude as well. We have to accept the fact that we are building a nation together. And we must do it together. Look at the drains that we've been talking about, and they will cover the drains, and then these guys, the spare parts, the scrap dealers, then they will go and take it. The other time, they were doing a road, and the drip thing. So they put the gravels and all that on the road and all, so that they will firm it up. And then somebody has a shovel and a wheelbarrow fetching the gravels. Like, seriously, these are people, these are Ghanaians, these are human beings. Let me quote Openia Jokumo, like, seriously, because there are certain things like I myself, I cannot do it. Not that I'm perfect, but I can't just think of doing certain things when I really know that what I'm doing is wrong.
It's a sad one, but here we are. How do we even get better? How do we get better at, doing some of these things?
It still begins with the authorities. That's why we have
so that's the point.
The power.
Yes, that's the point I'm making. So yes, we've given them the power. If the people are refusing to comply, if the laws are there and the people are refusing to comply, enforce it.
Do you know what I want to see? Do you know what I want to see? I want to see the task force, the AMA task force, stationed at Circle and all other places that they are supposed to be. 24 hours, like the 24-hour economy. They must be there at all times. They shouldn't go home and go and sleep. Or they shouldn't be walking about like they have no business doing. They must be there at all times. I want to see the FDA monitoring the businesses at all times. I want to see those who are supposed to be checking our traffic lights, making sure that everything is on point. Now, the street lights, who are those who are supposed to be checking the street lights as well?
It should be the mandates of the various MMDAs.
So what are they doing? It's like this nation is messed up. There's nothing working. Absolutely nothing working. No. Even you go to a plush area and then the traffic lights are not working.
This traffic light issue, it's one big issue in the country. It is to ensure that we are able to manage traffic situations, isn't it? When you get to Ashaiman, and I'm using Ashaiman as a case study or as an example because it is close to where I live. So from traffic, the Ashaiman traffic itself, the very famous Ashaiman traffic, the traffic lights are not really working. So around what we call the rush hours, if you close and say you are going home and you are using Ashaiman and you get to that traffic intersection, you find that it's sometimes a gridlock. From there, when you're heading towards the Ashaiman roundabout, so the Kakitu junction, it's called the Kakitu junction, there's another traffic light there, newly installed, beautiful. But when you get there, the traffic lights are not working. I've not spoken to the city authorities, i.e. Ashma. I've not spoken to them. But when you speak to some of the folks around or some of the drivers around, they tell you that, this traffic light, whenever they turn it on, it only causes traffic here. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah.
It only causes traffic here. So the city authorities have turned it off. And there's nothing like an MTTD personnel there who is directing traffic. So there's a vehicle coming from the mall area towards Kakitu, there's one coming from traffic light towards Kakitu, and there's one coming from the Kakitu or the official town side of the Ashaiman side, also coming towards the same intersection, and then they all meet there, and then this one is asking who has the right of way. Like nothing seemed to be working. I don't know if you've gotten the picture I've painted to you.
Yeah.
Everyone is coming at that same junction. How is it the case that traffic lights that are supposed to regulate traffic flow and ensure that we don't find some of these gridlocks and these lockups, so to speak, happen at various intersections? How is it that it's the same traffic light which is causing the problem which it's meant to solve? It sometimes baffles me.
I mean, and this is this is who we are. Amel couldn't have said it any better. I mean, we don't seem to be interested in all the very sensible things that would help this country and the people within. We only try to do all the unnecessary things that will put everybody in a certain situation of discomfort. And what have you, and we've lived with it for this while. Unfortunately, instead of people close with the authority and power to implement and enforce basic things that people gloss over, they also tend to sleep because there's a political animal in the system where if you try to enforce what is right, people will come at you and say, we voted for you, we'll vote for you again, and all those kind of things. So it's just unfortunate we have to live with it.
When would we ever? So we have to live with it forever. It should be with us like that.
But why? Why is it that you would cry, make noise over so many things, particularly that you want some what do you call it, road? You want some basic things, some basic necessities constructed or put in place for you as a human being, so that your life is made useful and meaningful in a country, like foot bridges and what have you. And after the construction of foot bridges, people are still crossing the road under the footbridge.
And you know that story, it baffles me. I don't understand.
They'll go and stand under the footbridge, which they are supposed to use safely. Cut whatever you want to buy from wherever over the footbridge. Or say there be. You come and cross the road, create human traffic, and the typical Ghanaian person who doesn't want to hurt a fly, when he sees danger of these persons crossing the road, will have to. It's a highway that he needs to move at a certain speed so that he doesn't create traffic on that stretch. Will now have to be forced to now apply brakes, create traffic under or on that stretch of road which does not need to see anything like traffic situation. And it is all because somebody has decided that I won't use the footbridge. I'll cross from under the footbridge.
They say sometimes the footbridges look like a temple run.
And so?
Which is why I love one thing. Let me say good morning to my very good brother, Honorable Filer, Alaji Filer, the Medina MC. He's doing some wonderful stuff at Medina. The very famous Zongo Junction. Doc, you realize years ago when the footbridge was actually put up, people were still crossing it. And it was one topical issue in the media. We had a lot of back and forth with it. The government would say that, well, we've deployed people to ensure compliance in the usage of the footbridge. But you go there, you still find people stand right under the footbridge and then they cross it. Yeah. Alaji Faila and Co have deployed task force and ensure that people are making use of the footbridge. And I bet you go there now.
I just wish it's sustainable. You see, these things, they'll do it actually 1 month. You go there, you won't find them again. 1 month, you understand?
No, but it's been. I'm thinking about the next administration after what has been started by, say, for instance, Alaji Faila and his team. You get it? Because he tells me that they are going to ensure compliance. And for some time now, whenever I go there, I have monitored compliance with that because they have task force people. And I was saying, if the AMA task force were up and doing, the red lines which were actually put in place for some of these market fools would not have been crossed over. You get it?
Yeah.
So it is really about sustenance of it. But if Alaji Faila is doing something like this and the rest are also doing something like this, then we can get somewhere. But if another administration comes in and decides that, well, I would turn a deaf or a blind eye to it, then we'll come back to square one.
Exactly. So this is who we are, Sayu.
And so we'll not get anywhere.
Oh no, please. Oh. Unless you have leadership that thinks differently. That me, I want to do this thing and overseer collect my name. And I don't mind whether I am kept in that office or I leave.
And I was saying that leadership, fortunately for us, is today.
Exactly.
Because President Mahama has just this term. So he can do everything to make sure that we all are disciplined.
Exactly.
And then he leaves his legacy and goes.
Especially when he has also made a point that this is his legacy term. I mean,
so he shouldn't be thinking about whether 2028 NDC will come to power or not. He is done with his.
Yes.
So he's supposed to make sure that these things that we are talking about, they are solved. At least he promised us a reset.
Exactly.
And the reset should come with a new format. It shouldn't be the old format. So
yeah, Charles. But I have the archives here profiling the facts. The front page of this paper has very interesting stories here. Doctors remove key lodged in human skull while separating fight at Jasikan. And it is crazy. You need to see the picture. Like
I saw it.
I thought it was AI.
No. It didn't look AI to me at all.
Key.
Stuck into the skull.
How did it get there?
I think so. There was a scuffle between he and one other colleague of his, the Okada riders, over a passenger. And
the guy.
Yes. So the other guy stuck the key into the skull of the brother. I saw the picture and I was like.
So hope he's well.
Oh,
they said they performed the surgery.
People can be somewhere.
Removed it.
Or is it anger?
Yeah, because there was of course, obviously there was a misunderstanding between the two of them.
Then you use the
and then in the result, in the end, the other guy actually stuck the key into the
skull
of the brother.
Let me briefly
and it's my
update.
Own people, my Jessican people.
Wow.
So what has happened to the one who caused this injury?
Yes. So yes. So the story says. Doctors at the 37 Military Hospital in Accra have successfully removed a motorbike key that became lodged in the skull of a 29-year-old farmer after he attempted to separate two fighting youth.
So he was the UN.
He was the UN.
He was
in Jasikan municipality in the Uti region. The victim, Moro Razak, from Awuma, a farming community in the municipality, sustained the life-threatening injury at about 9 p.m. On Tuesday, July 21, at Amenyo, another farming community in the area. According to the report, the altercation involved two youth from Bodada, who had traveled to Amenyo to play Chacha, a local gambling game. Wow. During the confrontation, Razak stepped in to restore calm, but was allegedly stabbed with a motorbike key, which became embedded in his car. He was initially rushed to the Jasikan Municipal Hospital for emergency treatment, but was later referred to the 37 Military Hospital in Accra due to the severity of his injury. Providing an update on Monday, Moro Al-Hassan, an uncle of the victim who has been caring for him at the hospital, told the Ghana news agency that the surgeons successfully removed the motorbike from during a delicate operation on Sunday, July 26. The operation was successful and Razak is recovering well by the grace of Allah, his uncle said. So that is it. I'm sure the police will later on get the guy at all costs.
So at this point he's at large?
No, the guy who stabbed him. Oh, definitely by this time. But I'm sure he will have it.
The police, when they say they want to do their job, you can even hide.
I like the expression.
Yeah.
Someone says that unless the police says they don't want to do it.
Oh yeah, of course.
They will catch you.
Yes. I'm even told that. Okay, but that's even. I don't want us to even go into that matter because. But yesterday, our colleague journalist who had these issues running through on social media, I'm told the police, I don't know how true is that, but
they've arrested him.
Some guys, some two persons in connection with the league.
Okay,
leak tape,
in connection with the leak. Okay,
the leak video and all that. Ibrahim Mahama not buying Valco. Workers' accusation claims false. CEO top officials fingered. The story is on page 3, page 2, page 4, and page 5 of the newspaper. Ghana's tallest man, Awuche, dies at 33.
I saw that story yesterday.
Oh, very sad.
Very, very, very sad. KGL, Ghana Medical Trust Fund building, world-class diagnostic center at Rage Hospital. It comes with a picture of the chairman of KGL and that of the administrator of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, Obobia Dako. Over the life care technology donates 5 million medical equipments to Mahama Cares. It goes on and on and on and on.
I'm interested in that story.
Which one?
The story with regards to Valco and speculations. Some people who are speculating.
Well, GUIDEC has issued a statement on it. That should settle the matter.
Exactly. And you see, it's instructive to note that government has said that it is not really going ahead to sell it to a private individual. And that has been the concern widely, by the worker union or the workers union, who say that it would lead to job losses and what have you. But I think that if government is minded, and of course there was a group in the past that actually urged government to get strategic investors into the Valco business in the first place. And so if government is going ahead to say that we are bringing aboard a strategic investor, well, the worker group have said that it would lead to job losses. We would definitely be speaking to them. It will lead to job losses, and government would have to take a relook at the position that is holding now as far as Valco is concerned. But I think that Valco is very important. I had a lot of my relatives working in Valco, but because of how it's been, there's nothing to write home about in terms of their plight, their welfare in the house.
Yes.
It's because we grew up seeing the Valcos, and I'm excited about Tema Oil Refinery. We saw all these companies there, and those days, if we are talking about the industrial city of Ghana, Tema.
I tell you. No, not there, Tema there. There's nothing, there's nothing to write home about
We'll bounce back.
When?
Please.
At least they have music.
Oh no, music is gone.
The
Music is gone. Now Kumasi has taken over music.
Music cried here.
Kumasi has taken over.
I mean, it went way back. Anyway, but before any other thing, I mean, I saw people trolling the chief of staff
Julius
over his doctorate degree. I find it very appalling, very distasteful. I don't know, Ghanaians. Serious. Why? Because he went to study. His PhD is launched in museum and heritage studies.
And what's their issue?
This is a one tip. The Adena, he has to go and do study, or his PhD should be in museum and heritage studies. And look at, do you people understand? This? Oh no!
I'm sure it's coming.
And so I want to add my voice to the various congratulatory messages that have come through.
It's in order.
Yes, that congratulations, a big one to Dr. Julius Debra on this feat. I mean, if are we not saddened that we don't even know our heritage as a people, and that we have people getting into that area of study to ensure that we properly document and properly ensure that some of these things are put in the proper perspective. Our heritage is well kept. Our museum. When was the last time you went to that Ghana museum? What is there now?
I think I was 8 years.
I tell you.
I was 8 years.
Way back when I was in JHS. I was in JSS, not JHS.
Yeah, JSS, yes.
And even at that time, a lot of the artifacts and things that we were expecting to see was nowhere.
Yeah.
And they are modi near maybe. And we have people getting into this area of study to ensure that some of these things are well documented and enhanced and kept well, so that we can do the do. We are all over the place. I found that very, very distasteful over the weekend when I saw people trolling him. Chief of staff, You want to go and learn something, you are learning.
Why? What were they expecting him to go and read?
It's just a political ridicule. I mean, it's just for political.
I think so. And which is unnecessary.
And I also saw some people ask how he was able to get time to actually do his studies.
President Mahama even narrated how sometimes you are on the campaign trail. You want to,
but it's PhD.
Doesn't make sense.
It's PhD.
That's how many years?
4 years.
That's
5 years.
4 to
5
5
years.
years.
Yeah.
So you
yes.
So,
it's PhD.
And I'm sure, of course, it definitely started before.
And that time he was in opposition.
Exactly.
So he could make good time.
Exactly.
To even,
and it's PhD is research based,
Yes.
right? So you don't. I mean, you're not going to sit in the class lecture.
Yes.
The lecturers are always there. I mean, it's research based, and I think, like you just said, congratulations is in the right order. I mean, to even get to this stage in life and say that I'm still furthering my education, I want to study something. It's something that we need to congratulate him for. And I mean, PhD in museum, yes, of course.
Why don't we have museums in the country?
But we do talk about tourism.
But people hold PhD in dancing.
Yeah, I was coming to that. This will help our tourism. I mean, he coming on board, he will bring fresh ideas how we can improve and all that. It is in that order. I mean, like you rightly said, we have people who go to the university to learn how to dance, and they are dancing and always dancing, and they will come out as PhD holders in dancing. I mean, they are also playing their part. And then we have those who are also doing nuclear weapons. I mean, along the stretch, they had to stretch.
Yeah, that's Gaek.
No, is it Gaek?
Yes.
No, the one, the one close. I mean, to the Maker's House, the University of Nuclear something.
Okay.
Yeah, every time I reach there, I call them nuclear weapons because I don't know what they are actually doing. But I mean, it's nuclear. Once it's about that, then. But I'm just saying that. I mean, the ridicule for me, I think, is just for political reasons. I mean, the NPP and this thing. But congrats.
Anyway, guys, there's a story here. You have a story there?
Yes, very, very, very key.
But we need to also speak. I mean, actually, some over 200 Ghanaians.
Yes, that's going to be a piece of my mind this morning.
Russia
it's
already dead.
It's going to be a piece of my mind. I'm going to have my take on it.
I see.
Yes.
But I wanted us to look at two very important, and Class FM reported on that. Yesterday we were talking about discipline in our schools and what have you. You know that in Techiman, as I have come to understand, Techiman Krobo, nursing training, we're all over the place. The students were all over the place. I don't know whether it was demonstration or they were agitating or whatever with school authorities, and they came face to face with the police. And you see some of the videos as we've posted on Class FM online. What? And on a class, I mean, the videos are on our Facebook page, my brother. And I'm wondering whether they don't have what they call the SRC, or I don't know. Must it take the entire student to be on rampage and come face to face with the police? And you see, and I'm told 2 students and 2 journalists have been arrested. And you see some of the
They need discipline. It doesn't call for the police. It calls for the military with canes. Get to the school.
So what is it at all that lesson. I mean, yeah, what is it at all that you couldn't have engaged your school authorities, and even if you engaged them and they were not listening, that you could not use other sensible means to get your matters to them?
So here's the thing. So I'm reading a story on GNA that says that the aggrieved students boycotted classes and hit the streets of the town to register their displeasure over what they described as poor management, demanding the transfer or removal of one Mrs. Helen Gifty Dramina Amwa, the principal of the college. Is that the best way to do it?
And then I'm sure it is even because they hit the streets. They did not have permits. They didn't go through the
But of course, I mean, before you do any protest, you have to seek the permission.
Public order.
Yeah.
And I see some of the video, and I see some of the boys and girls coming face to face with the police.
They should do that with the military.
But you see some action. You see the police also show them something small.
I mean, so in this case, what they use what we call minimum force.
Yes.
They only apply minimum force.
And then it's right. They have to do it. Yesterday I saw a similar video. That one, I mean, it's not about students. It's about some residents, and for them, they went at the military officers, and I think the soldier was very, very lenient and very respectful. A soldier holding a gun, and these people are coming towards him and like violently trying to abuse him, and the soldier just walked away. And I was like,
Did you see the video? I think it was a Galamsey site where these military personnel obviously had gone there to clamp down on the activities of some miscreants there, and the community folks. We're up in arms.
And then he drew a line.
And the military guy told you that don't cross this line. You see, there's a reason why the military, the kind of training they have is totally different. They told you don't cross the line. And here was this man who crossed it and wanted to show off, for the police, the soldier to know that I'm there. And I mean, in terms of we talking about men in the
guy is huge.
No, he wasn't. Not like he was huge.
Not that huge.
Were there 2 military men?
Yes, they were like 2 or 3.
They were holding guns.
Yes.
Oh, but that matter is an old video actually.
Is it?
It was at Obuasi East during the elections.
Oh, okay.
During the elections, in fact, the guy is an NDC constituency officer.
Okay.
No, I think that story is different.
No, this one.
This has got to do with Galamsey. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Galamsey.
It was the community. Those who are into the Galamsey within the community that came at the soldiers. And the soldiers were about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And one soldier drew a line on the on the ground and told them not to cross the line. And one guy who wanted to be the hero of the day decided to cross.
We call them champion.
And I love the soldier's reaction.
He just gave him on the leg.
On the leg.
And dog. You needed to have seen how. And once he fell on the ground, immediately he woke up and started limping. And he was going away.
He went home.
Wow.
He walked home.
No, he limped. He limped home.
He was limping home. So he had you could just go home. In fact, the soldiers gave you the opportunity to go home. Don't misbehave. And then a soldier has drawn the line. And then you want to be the hero because they were shouting his name. I think he's a popular guy there. So he just decided to cross it.
And then there was one who was shouting, "Eradi Wabonito,
You see, the funniest guy was a certain guy was standing just near the man who was shot, and he was also doing katashin. As soon as there was a gunshot, he climbed. He climbed, and he was doing. His reaction was, "Hey,
Wabonito,
hey!" I was like, "Stand there."
But you see, the point is, we are not saying that. Of course, 2 wrongs don't make a right, and so whether or not the military was right in doing that, the point is that you were given an order, you were given a directive, stay within. So the nurses, if you have any concerns at all, and you are making or you are calling for the removal of your principal or whoever, there's an appropriate way to do this. I mean, Doc, when you have nursing colleges, where officials or students are actually engaged in all sorts of things, you see the videos of some of these potential nurses and all of that, and I don't want to use the word. And then you ask the question. So these are the persons who are going to be at a health facilities and you have a concern. You may have a genuine concern, but it's about how you actually go ahead articulating the concern, isn't it? This morning, let me say good morning to a former colleague of mine in the immigration service who says that he's listening all the way inside airports. Good morning, my former 3IC, Bawa Inusa. It's good to know that you are listening. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Charles, finally. Yesterday the Kantanka family held a press.
I see they are in the news again.
I am broken. It's sad.
And another Lumba in the
I tell you, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it too. 2 days to the funeral of this
great man.
Yeah. You people cannot sit down to just put your house in order and let this man have that befitting burial that he deserves. people have gone for their ticket. People coming all the way from the diaspora. I mean, leaders of several jurisdictions, important dignitaries from all over the world made arrangements to come for the funeral, which is beginning on Thursday from the Independence Square. I'm told they'll go to Importer, that's the Kantanka place, and then come and continue the funeral at Independence. Just say. Then just about 48 hours to the day, or 72 hours to the day,
they are seeking court injunction.
Is not even seeking court. He says we're two the next, so no funeral.
Who is that?
Akofina.
Ah.
Hey, Charlie, don't say because you see, as we all heard, the will or the last what do you call it, request of their father has indicated, as we all read in the dailies, that his son should take over.
That came from Osibo, the Zara man, when they came out of court, and he made that statement, and then the media actually reported it. But Osibo came back to correct it.
Yes, I heard that one.
And then the lawyer Adjua, I think Senti Akufo-Addo or something, also corrected that statement.
Yes.
Apparently, yes, of course, the father willed a portion, or let me say something, to Akofina. But as to who is supposed to be the leader of the church, the father said any of the male children, according to the information that we have, can lead. But I think that is where the scrabble is. Who is supposed to lead? And Akofina says he's the leader. But you see, when you look at the family very well, I mean, I've taken my time to follow, their tradition. Adjua happens to be the queen mother, okay? Because they do the kingship thing. So Adjua happens to be the queen mother. And in the Akan and all this, is the queen mother who lets somebody to be on the throne. Now, without the involvement of Adjua, do you think you can still be a leader?
No. Well, I'm not sure.
Yes. So that is where the problem is. That's why I will always go back to what shouldn't have happened in the first place. Now your father is dead. I hold this opinion. Your father is dead. Okay. You haven't buried your father yet, but you are doing everything to become the leader of your father's estate. When your father is not yet buried, bury your father. Afterwards, you can talk about the estate, and you can be the leader. If let's say the will says you should be the leader, that is all. Very simple.
Anyway, guys.
And you see, the day that there was a gunshot or whatever it is, the shooting incident happened, I said something to my friends that there's no way there will be peace in this family until they resolve that particular conflict. Because now, Akofina and Adjua are at a very so they are until they resolve it, Akofina can be the leader of the church, and so there will be problems. That's how come now the funeral, we are facing this impasse.
Sitting presidents, former presidents have all indicated their participation in this funeral.
But why can't people just reason? It's just simple, very simple. Your father is dead. Bury your father. Afterwards, you seek the estate. That is all.
This is unfortunate. I pray that between yesterday that the press conference was held, today and tomorrow, there will be some cool heads prevailing in that family, so that the befitting burial that is supposed to be held for this great man goes on. Because you see, I don't know what will happen if this one is sustained.
There will not be a resolution. You know why? Because Adjua for now, according to a statement I read from her, she's requesting money, a certain amount of money to be paid to her, because she says that she has also invested money in this, the funeral arrangement and all that. So Akrofi must pay all the money to her. And then Akrofi can go ahead with the funeral. So and that money too is huge though.
Yeah, but
Until
it's not even about. I don't think that.
No, I'm saying, so there is a conflict. There is no way they can resolve it in a matter of a day or two.
I mean, but I get it. But you are looking at the stature of the person who is dead, your father, no? And the damage some of these things will bring to the eventual funeral. Because see, my issue is that when this funeral or when these leaders that you've invited, all these dignitaries you've invited to be part of the funeral, come to the realization that there's too much scaffold, there's too much tension, there's too much unnecessary whatever surrounding this funeral, chances are that if you don't take it, they will not even attend.
In fact,
there's a message
the
here.
day that the shooting incident happened was the day that some of them
would even take a decision on you.
Would take a decision.
And then you come and add this one. Oh God.
Paul from Dowenya says that, good morning class, please, Akrofi is the head of the Kantanka family according to the will and also the leader of the church. Others were trying to disrespect his authority, and that is what has brought them here.
Fine. Let them settle this thing amicably.
Who is the head and the leader?
Anyway, sometimes some of these family issues.
The man is. Our icon. Whether who is. Somebody. That's why I said. In fact, bury the man, and then you
of
can
all
go
the
for
things,
your,
if
your,
you don't
your,
remember
your,
him
your
for his legacies, you should look at Kantanka Automobile.
Yes.
And it is one of the cars that I knew.
Me bamechi.
You see. Look at
the whole
staff.
Africa.
Look at the stuff this man has
Star of Africa.
It's sad.
And look at the God.
And
what is
this? They are not even taking a cue from Daddy Lumba's issue. They are not taking a cue from it. Now look at Daddy Lumba. His own family destroyed his legacy. And then you want to do the same thing to Apostle.
It's a sad one. It's a sad one. But
bury the man, and then you can be the head of. The UN. Nobody cares.
Let's just hold our guns here, because sometimes some family issues you can leave them to actually banter over whatever they are bantering.
The man who even did his estate is dead, and you guys are now fighting.
Anyway, guys,
imagine.
Let me thank you so very much for your time this morning, Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan, and then also Ameyao Erujemfi, of course, my colleagues here at the Class 91.3 FM. This is the Class Morning Show right here on Class 91.3 FM. My name is Charles Akrofi. Let me one more time say a special good morning to all my immigration folks doing the listening inside the Kotoka International Airport, and more specifically to you, Bawa, and Benjamin, DSI Benjamin Dagadu. I hear it's loud and clear at the Kotoka International Airport. Good to know that you guys are tuned in at this point in time. At the Still the Class Morning Show, my name is Charles Akrofi, and of course, you do know that for the past almost 2 weeks or so, I've been sitting in for Kwame Jumuajimine, who I'm so jealous of at this point in time. But Doc, we have how many more days after today? We have 3 days. The countdown is on. Quarter by end of this week. Kwame, wherever you are, I'm sure Kwame, by now he's in Morocco. Kwame, if you're coming, please bring us something from Morocco. Anyway, it's now time for us to bring you a letter to the president this morning. What are we talking about this morning? This morning, my news editor, Nana Oyeankra, has got a beautiful letter to the president, and to all of those who have been asking whether or not the president actually listens to the letter, or he reads the letter we sent to him. Definitely, we have our ears and then we have our eyes on grounds at the presidency as well, and we understand that it's one big issue in the presidency. The president actually listens to a letter to the president, because we understand that the president always wants some of these issues addressed to him so that he knows what action to actually take. So this morning we have a beautiful letter to the president, read by my news editor, Nana Oyeankra.
Mr. President, the growing public debate over the future of the Volta Aluminium Company, VALCO, should concern every Ghanaian. Whether the discussions are about an outright sale or a co-ownership arrangement, one message is becoming increasingly clear. Ghanaians want assurance that this strategic national asset will remain protected for future generations. VALCO is not just another state-owned enterprise. It is a symbol of Ghana's industrial ambition and one of the enduring legacies of our nation's drive towards economic self-reliance. It represents decades of investment by the Ghanaian people and remains central to the vision of building an integrated aluminium industry capable of creating jobs, adding value to our national resources, and driving industrialization. Mr. President, while government has indicated that no outright sale is being contemplated, recent developments have generated anxiety among workers and the wider public. This presents an opportunity for your administration to provide clear and unequivocal assurances that Ghana will not relinquish control of such a strategic national asset in any arrangement that undermines the country's long-term interests. If private sector participation is required to inject capital, improve efficiency, or expand production, it should be pursued in a manner that safeguards Ghana's majority interest, protects workers' livelihoods, and guarantees that the nation's strategic control over VALCO is never compromised. Partnerships must strengthen national development, not diminish public ownership of critical assets. History has taught us valuable lessons about the consequences of losing control over key national enterprises. As we pursue economic transformation, we must ensure that decisions taken today do not deprive future generations of assets that could become pillars of Ghana's industrial prosperity. Mr. President, I respectfully urge you to reassure the nation that VALCO will remain a strategic state asset, managed transparently and strengthened through policies that prioritize Ghana's long-term economic interests over short-term gains. Some national assets are simply too important to lose. Thank you, Mr. President. Yours faithfully, Class FM.
Well, over to you, Mr. President. That's a beautiful letter to you this morning. It's still the Class Morning Show on Class 91.3 FM with me, Charles Akrofi. Time for me to bring you a piece of my mind. Story I find online, and it's with regards to some briefing given yesterday by the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. And the story, which is widely circulated on social media, says that about 55 Ghanaians killed in Russia-Ukraine war, 272 recruited since 2022. And the story says that the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has disclosed that about 272 Ghanaians are believed to have been recruited into the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war since 2022. According to him, some Ghanaian youth were lured through deceptive employment schemes and subsequently deployed to participate in the conflict. Now, addressing journalists on Monday, July 27, after the evacuation of 150 Ghanaians from South Africa, Mr. Ablakwa said information gathered during his visit to Kiev indicated that several Ghanaians had been affected by the war. He added that an estimated 55 Ghanaians have been reported dead. 55 reportedly dead. while 2 others are being held as prisoners of war. So there's a quote. It says that the government of Ghana is seriously worried about the reports of Ghanaians, the Ghanaian youth who are lured through deceptive employment schemes and subsequently deployed to participate in the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia. Information received during my visit to Kiev indicates that approximately about 272 Ghanaians are believed to have been recruited into the conflict since 2022, and an estimated 55 are reported dead. Okay, so here's my take. We're talking about the Russia-Ukraine war, and we've seen stories of people who have returned from that part, so to speak, from Russia, and recounted what they were subjected to. We live in an economy where the opportunities are so limited. And so when you are done with school, when you are done with university, it is so difficult for you to actually find work to do. And so for someone who has finished university and has been living home for years, and I recall a friend of mine who is now in Canada, Yawadami, let me say good morning to you. He listens all the time. Yawadami finished university and stayed home for close to 15, 16 years. And I'm a witness to all that he was doing. And of course, when you talk about this, someone would say that it is important that you start something on your own. I understand perfectly. When you start something on your own and you build it gradually, it stays forever. It is yours forever. In fact, I am one person who has always said that, look, the best thing to do for oneself is to work for yourself. So if you start something for yourself, it is for yourself, it is your legacy, it is something that you can hand down to generations after you. But we live in a dispensation where, you know, after university, because you go to the university and then you read certain courses, and then after the university, you would expect that there's the availability of jobs to actually absorb you. A lot of the courses run by our universities these days are tailor-made because the officials know that the industry is growing in Ghana, or it already exists in Ghana. And so once you're able to read this course, there is some, you know, industry available which would absorb you. But we live in a country where it has become so difficult for you to actually get a job for yourself to do. And so you finish university and then you stay home, you submit a lot of letters. And then the industry, so the companies would actually tell you that we need a certain people with a certain number of experiences. In most cases, they don't even respond to your letter at all. So it has become difficult for the young graduate who is fresh from school to actually get a job to do. But at that stage in your life, it is important that you get to know that the responsibilities of life would be on your shoulder. I.e., you have a sick mother or an aging mother to take care of. You have other siblings behind who you also have to take care of them. You have several other responsibilities on your shoulder. And so you keep thinking, I have been in that state before. And so when I'm talking about these things, I'm talking out of passion. I've been in that state before. And I'm not going to narrow my argument today, you know, with regards to just the non-availability of employment. I'm going to broaden the scope. So wait, if you are listening to me this morning and perhaps you are poo-pooing the argument that I'm making, just take your time. Easy. And let me make my argument. So you expect that the state would provide certain things for you. There should be availability of jobs to actually absorb you after you are done with your course in the university. But you submit so many application letters, and the jobs that are there, that are to even absorb you in the first place, the state-owned agencies, those job availabilities are made on political basis. If you don't belong to a certain political leaning or a certain political party, you don't get the opportunity to enter SIM or to get a job. And so you see, you are forced to toe a certain path. It is not all of us who would want to do politics at the end of the day. And it's not all of us who are connected. There are those who are not connected in society. There are those who do not know the big people. But of course, they are brilliant. They have bright minds. They've gone to the universities. They've been to the institutions to read good courses that, you know, we can actually tap into the potentials in them. But because the jobs are not there, you stay home for 10 years, 15 years, like in the case of my brother Yawodamin, who is fortunate, I should say. Well, I would say that he's fortunate in that regard, because it's become a means for us all as a people, you know, to flee the shores of the country once the opportunities are not there. You travel out somewhere and then you go and you engage yourself in what will be known as perhaps menial jobs here in a part of the world. You go there and then you engage yourself in them and you are paid good. And you're able to come back home and still rub shoulders with the big people in society. So if Yawadami and Co have left the shores of this country, I mean, it's all well and good because he was suffering here. Now you suffer all these years, 10 years, 15 years, because you don't have a job to do. However you feed yourself, however you take care of your family, it is only God who knows. However you take care of that sick mother of yours, it is only God who knows. And after your parents have taken care of you, finished up your undergrads at the university, you still expect them to actually pay for your postgrad and what have you? No, it wouldn't work that way. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that once we are done with universities, you'd expect that there's the availability of jobs in the society to absorb our people. But in the absence of these jobs, the graduate becomes frustrated. And now, the next option that we are thinking about, the next option that the graduate is thinking about is to flee the shores of this country, to go and explore greener pastures elsewhere. Do those greener pastures even exist in the first place? Are they there? So you find them engage themselves in all sorts of things. And now we've seen a lot of travel and tour companies springing up. And you see, this morning, myself and the team spoke about the fact that the regulatory bodies, those that are supposed to ensure that things are done properly and in order, in conformity with what the law says, a lot of them are slipping in this country. You find a number of these travel and tour companies spring up. And as to whether or not these are travel and tour companies properly so recognized by the law, it's also a different thing altogether. I've heard stories of people who have been duped by a lot of these travel and tour companies. Of course, there are genuine ones in the system that are working, registered with the various agencies in the country and ensuring that they are doing what is supposed or what they are supposed to do. But then again, there are some of these travel and tours within the societies that are also doing things contrary to what the law says. A lot of them. And I bet you, if the regulator should do its work and do it very diligently, just as we are seeing the Securities and Exchange Commission does it work in terms of, the regular updates with regards to some of these Ponzi schemes that are coming up, every now and then. And recently, Doctor actually took time to go through a number of them. Doctor, there were about 22 plus or so of these Ponzi schemes and their names, that were actually published. And let me say good morning to the team at the Securities and Exchange Commission, my brother Mensa Thompson, and a friend of mine back in the days in Parliament, Mr. James Avejikluche. Good morning to you. If we should get the regulatory bodies doing their works diligently, a lot of these travel and tour companies will not meet the standard. They will not. But you see, because of the fact that a lot of these youth, a lot of these graduates who are fresh from the universities, because of the fact that they don't have jobs to do, once they get someone to give him or her a support, to say that I can get you some 20,000, some 30,000, to help you travel out of the country to go and explore greener pastures elsewhere, the travel and tour companies take advantage of this. So I come to you as a travel and tour agent and I tell you that there are opportunities in maybe A, B, and C country. Even as you are living your life here in Ghana, you would expect that things are better, but things are not better for you. But if you go to this country where, you go and scrub the teeth of a horse, you'll be paid this amount of money. If you go to this country where you engage in fruit picking or factory hands and what have you, you'll be paid this amount of money. And you compare that amount of money to what you would have been paid here, even if you had gotten a job here, what you would have been paid here would be perhaps a pittance. It will be nothing compared to what you'll be paid there. So it means that you'll be looking at those options. And that is where the youth have gotten to now. It has become so desperate. It's become so frustrating for the ordinary youth out there because of the non-availability of jobs. And some of these travel and tour agencies, of course, they hoodwink the youth. They lie to them. They lure them. They cajole them. They lure them and tell them that, well, we have these opportunities for you. And so when you come on board, we'll take you to this country, we'll provide you accommodation, we'll give you the job, and we'll even work at ensuring you get your PR, your permanent residence in that country, so that you become a resident there. So you are not subjected to all the immigration laws and what have you there. Before you could say Jack, they take you to a different country. And that has been the situation of a lot of our folks. A lot of these graduates who graduate from the universities, they are hoodwinked, they are lured into some of these schemes. Why? Didn't you hear the story about, what's the name of that, QNet and Co? That government has been doing a lot in terms of clamping down on their activities. There are a lot of them out there. A lot of these recruitment agencies, they are out there, duping the unsuspecting public and pushing them into danger wherever they are able to take them to. I heard a story about someone who says that he was being recruited to go and, do some work somewhere. Is it the UK or somewhere? But before he could realize, he was at Cote d'Ivoire. and they were going to be used for all sorts of things there. And you dare not say anything because the people who took you there would deal with you. You dare not say anything. So he had to send an SOS back home. So you see, you find a lot of our folks engaged in the Russia-Ukraine war. And recently, I think Okujeto Ablakwa was at Ukraine, where he met with the Ukrainian president. And they had some engagement where some Ghanaians were held as prisoners of war and what have you. Tell you what, if you have any of your folks in Russia, in the Ukraine areas and all of that, and you are not hearing from them, you should begin thinking about where possibly they are. And sometimes, I understand that sometimes when they get to these countries, they are told that, if you participate in the war, you'll be paid this amount of money. And even in times or in situations where you die and all of that, your family will receive this amount of money and all of those things. So it is lucrative. It is enticing. Some, even though, did not know they were going to participate in the war. But others were told. Because of the money involved. And so you see, it is appetizing. It entices you to want to join. So I'm talking about we the youth out there. Look, it has gotten to the time where you realize that it isn't really about what government has for you. It isn't really about what government has for you. Because like I say, government over the period of time, if they would have improved your lot, you would have seen it. But after university, you've been staying home all this while and you are not getting anything to do. We need to think outside the box. You see, it is not really about traveling. Of course, when the opportunity presents itself and it's a genuine one, it is a genuine opportunity for you to actually travel, to go and make some good money somewhere and come back. Look, you can do that. But it doesn't mean that the money that you are looking for isn't here. And when you say some of these things, of course, some people would say that we are tired with all the motivational speeches. Of course, even myself, I'm tired with the motivational speeches. But what can we do? We can only motivate ourselves and tell ourselves that, look, we can do it here in this country. We can do it here in this country. A lot of people are being innovative in their approaches. After university, I have seen some, people after university, some, who have even read certain courses at the university, town and planning, and all of those. But you find some of them even hawking. I'm not saying that at all costs you should be on the street hawking. That's not the point I'm making. I am saying that we can decide to start something in our own small way rather than allowing the frustration to get at us and thinking about traveling out of this country. Because a lot of the times, these travel agencies, these travel and tour agencies will just lure you into something that you do not know of. And some of these travel and tour agencies, the amount of money they are making from people in the country. Good morning to my own sister. We call her Auntie Wendy. Anyway, Auntie Wendy. There was a time she had to call me to accompany her to one of the travel and tour agencies, because a certain amount of money was taken from her, to aid her in her visa acquisition and all of that, to travel to a certain country and all of those things. Of course, we are told that you don't have to pay any money to any third party or any agent in order to secure a visa. The embassies are there. Just do the application, and when fate finds you, voila, you're able to travel. But it's a lesson learned. And we've constantly gone back and forth. We've been to the office several times and come back, yet to no avail. The money is lost. And it was hoping. It was a lot of money. The money is lost. Who is checking these travel and tour agencies? Who is checking them? Who is checking them? I think government would have to turn an attention to that space, because there are a lot of them springing up. You find a shop lying somewhere, and in the next minute, before you realize, it's branded so and so Travel and Tour, Dr. Desmond Travel and Tour Company Limited, Irajua Travel and Tour Company Limited will help you secure a visa to this country, and then the packages involved are so lucrative. Go and be a security man somewhere, at a harbor somewhere, go and be a cleaner somewhere, go and be a factory hand somewhere, and all of those things, they are so lucrative. And you'll be paid the CD equivalents of, say, 30,000, 50,000 and co. And you are thinking about it. So 50,000, I can do a lot with it in Ghana. Okay, so I think that I need to raise, and you are raising about 100,000, 150,000. That 100,000, 150,000 that you are raising to secure your visa through the third party or these agents, why wouldn't you invest that money into something else? But then again, it still comes back to the old thing. Or what we are talking about, the frustration the system has created for the people. The youth are increasingly becoming frustrated. And in their frustration, these agencies, these travel and tour agencies, are taking advantage of them. They are taking advantage of them. And constantly, we've been talking about these things. That government turn an attention to these issues. Unemployment rate in the country is nothing to write home about. I mean, it's a big deal that a lot of the youth are still unemployed. A lot of the times, we are seeing some of these travel and tour agencies spring up and taking advantage of the youth. You should pay interest to some of these things, some of these developments happening in the country. A lot of the times we've been talking about these things, but we still come back here to talk about the same things, because you would expect that once you talk about these things, there's some action that is brought to bear so that we bring some finality or some closure to some of these things. But time without number, we've heard the issues about QNet and all of those things constantly. QNet has been how many years now? So you see the ordinary Ghanaian out there who is looking for something to do so that he can provide, the bread and butter issues, 3 square meal for himself and the family. If you present him this opportunity, that when you travel out there, you would make it, and there is no hope for you in Ghana here, you see, those agencies are just interested in taking the monies. And once they get the monies, they do whatever they have to do. And there are times that, of course, it's not the time that your visa will be approved. Your visa is bounced and you don't even get the monies that you've invested. It's bounced and it's bounced for good. You don't get the money you've invested back. You would have to go and get another money to start the process all over again. Have you thought about that? And, once these travel and tour agencies get these folks applying, they take them elsewhere. Not what they've been promised. Mind you, it is a cabal. It is a business for some persons to recruit people from outside of the world into the Russia-Ukraine war. It is a business for some people. And they have agents all around. Security concerns. The various security agencies in the country. It is a call to you this morning that let's see how we can actually sanitize the space to ensure that our people are safe. Because a lot of these travel and tour agencies are luring a lot of these folks into ventures that they did not even promise them in the first place. Now we are hearing that about 55 Ghanaians have been killed in the Russia-Ukraine war, and 272 have been recruited since 2022. At this point in time, if you have anyone living around, living in the Russia, Ukraine, and all of those areas, and you've not heard from them, you should begin asking yourself questions. You should be asking yourself questions. But government has a role to play, and you and I also have a role to play. Let's play our role. The youth. I'm much concerned about the youth. I'm much concerned about you, because we are in this together. I've been there before. If you are listening to me this morning and you become so frustrated, let me motivate you. Let me motivate you that you can do it here in this country. You can do it here. See, there are a lot of people who are doing wonderful stuff. Take, for instance, the internet space. Now, blogging has become something that everyone is able to do it. Just that there have been questions about whether professionally is done right and what have you. Could you perhaps look at the opportunities the internet presents to you? Could you look at the opportunities AI presents to you? There are a lot of opportunities out there these days. So instead of you thinking about the greener pastures that do not even exist in the first place where you want to travel to, and of course, before you can travel to these places, you need the money. You don't have the money. It is about money. That's why you are frustrated, because you are not getting the job to do. So if you are able to get that money that you would use to travel to wherever you want to go to, I urge you this day, why don't you invest that money into some profitable venture? These days, a lot of people are doing stuff online, and social media, online has become a very, good avenue for making business or for doing business. In your own small way, you could decide to start something. And Iraja is eating or consuming spring rolls. Someone calls it Spintex root. Spring rolls this morning. Someone could start a business in that area. You package it nicely, and you look at how you can sell it on social media, well branded. You need capital, of course. Maybe family and friends could help you. If family and friends are not there to help you, there's a way you can generate something small. And of course, you can't say that sometimes you don't get something small. Okay, you get about 5 cedis, and then that's what you feed on a daily basis. 5 cedis isn't enough to actually take you through or carry you through the entire day from morning to evening. But could you say that maybe let me save one cedi, let me save, even though I'm unable to feed myself so well, but let me save something small for something better someday. And then when you're able to get a certain amount of money, you invest it into a business, and gradually that business becomes big. Maybe. Let's give it a thought. Because I get so worried when I hear some of these stories. There was a time I had a call from a friend, and this was many, many years ago. I had a call from a friend who had traveled to the States because he found a partner online and decided to go there. The partner came down there and then they did their wedding stuff here and they finished everything and then traveled with her to the States, only to find out that who he thought she was, she wasn't. And that she was into the business of trafficking people and using them for other businesses in the States. And luckily for him, he had access to a mobile phone that was abandoned in the room where he was locked, and placed a call back home and said that this is a situation where I find myself. And at a point in time, his parents became frustrated when they heard the news because they were not hearing from him after a long while. Your son is in, or your daughter is in the States. Oh, okay, so my daughter is there. After some time, I'll be hearing from him and he'll be sending me some cash. He'll be doing this, he'll be doing that. But after many, many, many years, you are not hearing from him. You are not hearing from her. You become worried as a parent. You see, these are the realities, the untold realities. These are the kind of situations some of our folks are subjected to, and especially when they travel to some of the areas, some of the countries within the Gulf areas, we hear harrowing stories. Women being used for prostitution. They allow themselves, or they allow dogs to sleep with them. They contract all sorts of diseases, and then they leave them. They come back to the country, and all of those things. It's a worrying development. And I think that this morning we'll have to do a lot as a people to sanitize the space, to get the relevant, the well-documented, the licensed travel and tour agencies to be the ones that are working in the country. Let's ensure that we protect the youth who are the future of this country. And let's ensure, as government, that we are providing the enabling environment for the youth to be happy in this country. I rest my case this morning, and I would open the phone lines for you to also call and share your thoughts on the issues that I've shared with you this morning. And the studio line is activated now, 0302-208080, 0302-208080. This is a piece of my mind, and of course a segment on the show where I share my thoughts on an issue and also give you the opportunity to also call and share your thoughts on what I have shared so far with you. Of course, you are entitled to your own opinion. Feel free to share them with me, but of course you want to do that devoid of, insult and whatsoever, much as you may be angry as regards how the system has been so far, what government is not doing so far. You want to do that, devoid of insults and what have you. 0302 208080, 0302 208080 is the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, boss. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Seth.
Seth from Ajekujo. All right, Seth, let me hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Charles. The only thing, all what you say this morning, I was asking. We are talking of decentralizational system, and then we have a National Planning Commission. I don't know they have a link between the town and country planning at the district level. Have they have any relationship? If they don't have a relationship, that is why we are lacking of a kind of developmental things, the policy they have to do. Because they will do something in the central core, but it will not have a duplicate in the district level, which will help the citizen. Because citizens can go to the district and have interaction. It's difficult, but if it is near to them, they can go and have some say in that side there. That is my suggestion for this morning. Concerning about the Minister of Foreign Affairs, yes, all what are going and what they are doing, there is something I'm saying is lax. We need more education. We need more education, because if you don't have that education there, we cannot do anything. Concerning about other agencies, we have what they have to do to the people. They are not doing. Nobody is monitoring them. Everybody do what they decide to do to benefit there, and the masses suffer because they don't have anything to challenge those things. I'll leave it for the others to continue.
Thank you very much, Seth from Ajekojo. 0302208080 is the line and it's active now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Charles. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. I trust you're doing the same.
I'm fine.
Good
This
to
is
hear.
Mensa Mataiko.
Mensa Mataiko. Let me hear you, my brother.
Charles, what a great delivery this morning. But I want to look at it from the point of view of security. This time, national security come into the sharp focus of this discussion. Charles, you and I see some of these adverts pasted on walls, employment needed, people needed to travel to Dubai to do ABC, like you just said. What is the interest of national security? Why is our national security in a reactive mood, not in a proactive mood? They should be willing to know what is happening with the citizenry. I bet you, every time you see our state institution or investigation institution came into this kind of thing, meaning Ghanaians are already scammed. They are here, they don't care about what is happening. You see them wearing jackets, written national security, yet they cannot even express themselves in a simple language, English language. So my point is, when Ghanaians are this calm, what is the use of national security? Now, to the youth out there, I'm a youth myself, it is very tough to make it here in this country. But Charles, like you said, if you are determined, you can make it. I have a guy who was helping me in my project here. Before we could say Jack, he ran away to Canada. He came down last begging for food because he went there and he realized after all the work he's doing, what they promised him, they gave him only 800 cedis every month after he paid tax and everything. So he ran back here. Ghanaians, you don't need to travel outside to make money. You need your brain here to make money. Good morning.
Good morning, Mensa. Thank you very much. 0302208080. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Brad Charles.
Hi, good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Isaac, calling from Airport Residential.
Okay, Isaac, let me hear you.
Yeah, indeed, the youth, we can make it here in Ghana, but the system is not working and the leaders are not helping. Why am I saying this? I'm a driver and I'm currently doing work and pay. Okay, and I drive on these ride-hailing apps. That is, i.e., the Yango, and the percentage they are taking is outrageous. Just imagine taking 30% out of every money I make, and I'm responsible for the car. As a car doing work and pay, responsible for the car. Everything is for me. And at the end of the day,
wait. So you pay the 30% to the company?
To these ride-hailing apps on every trip I make. On every trip. And with the drivers, we've been complaining and ranting on the social media, and it seems like no one is listening to us. And sometimes I ask myself that, is it that some of the leaders, they go to these people and maybe they take some amount of money and that's why they are not listening to our cry? So just imagine going through all this struggle and you are presented with an opportunity that those who drive outside, they make it. You go, obviously, because the system is not working here. Paying 30% on every trip. And at the end of the day, if I'm going home with, let's say, 350 cedis for the day, then I've paid about 250 to the app, which is not fair.
And then you would also have to pay for using the machine, the car, isn't it?
They're providing us with the passengers, and they are just deducting 30% out of every trip we make. And just look at the struggle we go through, doing work and pay, the amount we pay for. Some of us do 2,000 cedis a week for work and pay, 2,000 Ghana cedis. And at the end of the day, you have to go through all these struggles, and the leaders are not listening to us. So why won't we travel?
I understand you. 30% to the ride-hailing app, and then you still have to pay for the car that you are using. Anyway. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, boss.
Akrofi.
Right.
My name is Freddie Hams. I'm calling from North Ghanaian.
Freddie Hams, I know.
Yes.
Good to hear from you. Let me hear you.
All right, so you see, I want to ask you a question this morning. Is there any institution that supervises over our local government or our local environment that is actually working? I just want to know. You will go around and you will see gutters that are supposed to be covered, and they are open, and nobody is having a concern over it. And there are local governments supposed to handle some of these things. And you ask yourself, they are waiting until there is an accident And then they will come and, give so many jargons and tell us all. I don't get it. Sometimes it's so frustrating.
I
Because when
know.
we look at what happens in other countries, you realize that, when things are going bad, authorities that are supposed to handle some of these things will come in without even being notified. They get to know of it and they handle it. But I don't know. Is there any institution that is supposed to supervise over local government that's actually working? I just want to know. Good morning.
Good morning, Frederick. Maybe we should connect soon. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh,
Yeah, Dave.
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 Yes, Dave. Let me hear you.
Yeah, man. Our country, somebody talk about security. You see, our security is very, very poor. Simply because things go wrong in this country and they don't know about it. Sometimes, if NDC came power, some people we discover them inside bush. We cannot go there. Only a motor and things. See that our ministers just lost them lives. We security have to work exactly that no any bad man today in our country, no need to be a person. You see, if we say we get security, especially radio station, GBC radio, GBC, Ghana Broadcasting. Security for all day this country will corrupt we have today this country. All you understand that. But why they country we don't do it in the country, then we are paying the taxpayer money, then we are the citizens are suffering, and these bad people, you can hold your mobile, and somebody will take a knife on your top, collect your mobile, personally use you. The boys are in the corruption, doing what is wrongly. Yeah, let's do the laws of our country to attack wrongdoers. You see, so that the country will be clean and no, everybody will be free and take the country. But the country is their money, says you are in trouble. Property says somebody in my goat that I'm wearing. This is what disturbing me. That goats will come out no. The one we are watching, then somebody catch them.
I hear you, Dave.
The country like that way. Securities are in the country, police are in the if you go report it to them, they rather need money from you. Yeah?
Anyway, Dave, thank you. Thank you very much. 0302-208080. Hello, good morning.
Morning, my very good brother. This is Michael from Kotobabi.
Michael Kotobabi, yes, boss. Let me hear what you've got to say.
Yeah. Why would we travel, bro? You see, yesterday I heard one of your guests in your studio using TOP as an example that he have paid somebody 80,000, something like that. And then the person did the work for 3 weeks or something like that. You see, but one thing that he doesn't know is how many meters square or how many workers that he has employed. You see, nobody cares for those who are supposed to help us are rather busy making money for themselves and their family. So when you cry, nobody listens to you. Bro, I am doing this POP, this POP work 30 years now. You understand me? Even Mr. Odiko, NDK Financial, and Kojandi, Kasapreku is there. They can testify. They know me very well. But you see, the system, we have tell the government that they don't know the number of Ghanaians that we can also employ you. Look at, it's not about seeking government work or whatever that can get the youth. We can also teach them this work. The foreigners are making money, living this country, doing better, good things for their country or their whatever it belongs to. But they come and make money for here. Nobody cares for them. You see, but yet we will do an estimate, want to train more boys from Ghana here so that they can also be getting jobs around. But nobody listens. They will rather compare your estimate to the foreigner and give the job to the foreigner. You understand me? So let's clean the system first. Otherwise, we keep doing the same thing. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. 0302-208080. Hello, good morning.
Please, good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Sister Aisha. I'm calling from Imensa.
Sister Aisha from Imensa. Let me hear you.
First of all, I'm in Sierra Leone, but I want to thank you. You just look like Kwame. Your voice, may God bless you guys for all you are doing.
We've been together Africa for years.
Yes, I've been in Ghana for years. May God bless you. I've been here for 11 years. I'm in Sierra Leone. I wish your type or Kwame type in Sierra Leone. Every day I listen to you people. I really need this voice to be going to Sierra Leoneans. I'm in Ghana. What I go through is a lot, but Ghana is a peaceful country. You can do anything and survive. But our brothers and sisters are suffering over there, especially Sierra Leoneans and Nigerians. So may God bless you for what you are doing. May God continue to give you the chance. And Kwame, to wherever he is, may God bring him safe in Jesus' mighty name. I'm so happy to hear from you people. Thank you.
Thank you too so very much, and amen to all your prayer requests of us this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling from, please?
This is Sam calling from Tema.
Sam from Tema. Let me hear you.
This traveling thing, and you know that it won't stop.
Why?
You know why?
Why?
Because we live in a system where when a young guy is going to look for work or a young girl is going to look for work, if he doesn't know anybody, he or she will not be even being considered. You get me? That's one. Two, if a lady is going to look for a job and let's say she even gets it, she will have to sell her body before she gets it. It's not always the case, but that's what majority of the time it happens. Also, I have a friend who even did petroleum engineering for 4 years. He didn't get job. He had to leave the country to Russia, and today he has made it. The point I'm trying to tell you is that if we don't solve poverty in this country, I'm not saying that poverty entirely can be solved, but if we don't raise the standard of living of the average Ghanaian, they will continue to see greener pastures elsewhere because nobody can stay here and starve and die. You wouldn't want your children to be like that, right? Ask yourself, even politicians are sending our children abroad. How much more the average Ghanaian? Because everybody wants the best for them.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Charles.
Hi, your name and where you calling from?
This is Babs.
Babs, yes. Babs, let me hear you.
Charles, I find it so difficult. Look, the university that is there is a higher learning. You go there to develop yourself. You don't go to university for government to come and give you employment. No, it doesn't work anymore like that. You go there to develop your brain. Yes. The best employment is what? To be self-employed. The best employment is self-employed. Look, Kwame, I used to have a friend, a Nigerian friend.
Oh, unfortunately, I lost him there. Okay, 0302208080 is the line. A lot of you are actually sending in your messages. Maybe let me also make time to read your messages. And I'm getting some messages with regards to those of you who use these ride-hailing apps and what have you. Okay, let me just take the time and read some of your messages, and then shortly my colleagues in here would join me in studios, and I will talk about some of the very topical issues that have come up as far as discussions this morning is concerned. This one here says that, good morning, I'm Aben from Kwabinya, and Ghana is safe under competent hands, so workers of VALCO should be rest assured and shun the naysayers, even if VALCO is being sold to Ibrahim Mahama to manage it well. What's wrong with it? Well, the man has said that he is not taking over VALCO. Okay, let me just hang in there and get onto the phone lines. And with regards to this development from VALCO, you do understand that yesterday some of the workers protested what they say is the sale of VALCO to some individuals. They are against it. And get onto the phone lines and speak to the board chairman for VALCO, Mr. Horace Ankra. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for your time with us on the Class Morning Show.
Yeah, good morning.
To start with, is it your indication that VALCO, as we have it, is going to be sold out? Is that what you are learning?
Well, what I'm learning is what I have on the grounds at VALCO, and that is that VALCO in the last few years have started making profit, and VALCO is on the right path. That is what I know as board chairman in charge of VALCO. We are on the right track. We're making profit.
And you've not heard anything about the alleged plans to sell VALCO whatsoever?
Well, you see, these confusions are all because of certain things, even if they are in their embryonic stages. It's not palatable on air. What do I say? I mean, certain things when they are being spoken and taken care of among stakeholders is what makes life more easy. You understand? These agitations and all these things that you are seeing around yourselves is because somebody is saying A, somebody is saying B, instead of us putting A and B together and look at it holistically to the benefit of entities and the people of Ghana. And talking about individuals, VACO has not received any bid from Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, neither is VACO being sold to Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. I want to make that clear.
Okay. But you had the concerns of the workers yesterday who protested. And they are saying...
Yesterday, the protest was not by VACO workers. Yesterday's protest was
by the Commercial Workers Union. Yes. The commercial workers, yes, ICU Ghana. And so they have a concern. And the concern is that really they are smelling plans to actually sell it. And you have said that there are certain things that you can actually put up or you can actually publicize, so to speak. But when you hear some of these issues as the board chair, how do you react to them to start with?
My reaction is what I've just said. My reaction is just keep focused on VACO. And I'm happy that we adhering to the president's industrialization policy, VACO is now seeing profit. Certainly, I'll be concerned. But for me, at present, I know that yesterday's action was by ICU. Okay? Was by ICU. So if for nothing at all, I think government will be talking to ICU.
Okay. But let's talk about the other issues. And of course, still, on this VACO issue, there were once upon a time concerns that government perhaps needed to get some strategic investment into the factory, which I recall that we even spoke to some of the aggrieved workers of VACO in the past who had made a call that it is important for government to actually chart this path. What is the latest with regards to that?
Well, their concern could be legitimate because VACO is owned by government and the best investor is government. The best investor into VACO is government because VACO is 100% Ghanaian. So if Ghana government owns VACO, then Ghana government is the best investor into VACO. So if probably you're hearing about, you see, there are two different types of, or so many types of investors. You get me? You yourself, you need an investor. That's why you got married. Otherwise, you not have your children. You get me? It's not everybody that you marry to. A strategic investor is an investor who comes in wanting what? True, wanting dividends, wanting profit at the same time. An ordinary investor can be anybody at all, like what we are talking to. Anybody who can come in, even buy us the retrofitting tools. The tools for us to retrofit, not even giving VACO the money, but sponsor the retrofitting. Take your money and your interest, you're gone. No ceding of, shares. So there are so many kind of investors that you can look at.
Some of the placards that were actually held high during the protest yesterday, and as have been shared on our platforms, I'm talking about the images that have been shared on our WhatsApp platforms. As I'm looking at them now, I'm just going to be reading some of the inscriptions on them, so maybe you can react to. It says that this one here, for instance, says GIADEC and its CEO Randolph Chumesi is a big scandal to this government. Mr. President, protect VACO. Say no to shady VACO deals. Mr. President, your people are not telling you the truth about VACO. It's our responsibility as Ghanaians to protect state assets. VACO is not for sale. ICU Ghana and VACO workers are poised to resist any attempt to sell VACO. And who is behind ARCH Holdings Limited? First of all, with this very inscription, Mr. President, your people are not telling you the truth. You are the board chair for VACO. And I suppose that periodically, of course, you would have your meetings and then you'll be getting your briefings as regards the current state of affairs at VALCO. You have said that VALCO as it is now, it's in a healthy state. But it appears ICU is not saying so. And they are saying that the people are not briefing you well.
ICU is not saying that VALCO is...
And JADEC.
Yeah, but JADEC, ask yourself. I mean, name one single thing that JADEC has done for VALCO. Just one.
You tell me. You are in a position. You tell me.
That is why I'm saying to you that VALCO is making profit. I did not say VALCO stroke JADEC. I said VALCO. It tells you that VALCO left alone to the board, the management led by Robert Sambian, and the hard workers that we have there currently. The future is bright. That's all it is.
Okay.
That's all it is.
So,
and if they say your people are not telling you the truth, I am not the people. We at VALCO are not the people. If I have to say anything, I have to say it to my minister. And my minister himself recently even spoke about how VALCO is making profit and how the first year of 2026 has been so good for VALCO. His own words.
Okay, how do you respond to this? Some of the protesters, I mean, I'm talking about ICU, of course. It says that the protesters expressed concern over what they claimed were efforts by the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation, GIADEC, to introduce strategic equity investors into VALCO, insisting that such a move amounted to privatization of a critical national asset. Is it the case that GIADEC wants to introduce some strategic equity investors into VALCO?
Certainly. I mean, the placards are saying it. The GIADEC CEO himself has said it on air at a point in time when these things shouldn't even go out there on air because government has not concluded on anything. You see where the confusion is coming from?
Class 91.3 FM.
Government has not concluded on anything at that point in time, and not even now. Maturity. Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay. Unfortunately, Mr. Horace had to drop the line on us because I had a lot of questions that I wanted, to pose to him, and I'm getting some messages in that regard. But the ICU, I was hoping that we could actually speak to you, but my producer tells me no one is answering, and anybody close to Mr. Morgan Ayawini, who is General Secretary of the ICU, let him know that we are knocking on his doors because, I mean, we've spoken to the board chair of VALCO and he has presented his side of the issue as to whether this sits well with them or not. We definitely would have to hear from them on their concerns, and because if you get onto classfmonline.com, the story is also there. You find quite a number of the ICU folks holding placards and banners and what have you with a lot of inscriptions on them. VALCO is not for sale. ICU Ghana and VALCO workers are poised to resist any attempt to sell VALCO. A lot of messages actually coming in as far as this issue is concerned. Okay. All right. Maybe let me just take the time, even as we work on the phone lines, to see if we can get to speak to the ICU and also hear what they've got to say on this very issue. But this one here says that, good morning. I have been listening to your conversation this morning on travel agencies, and I would like to show my experience with Class FM because I'm a victim of QNet for some years. So if you give me the opportunity, I'll be grateful. That's a good one. Peter. Okay, so Peter, I've taken notice of your message. My producer will take your number. I will call you and then have bring you into studio so that we can actually have the conversation. Good morning, please. Your guest from VALCO, the guest from VALCO you are interviewing is not okay. You say he's not speaking the truth. Workers know what is going on at VALCO. Will resist if this government plans to sell VALCO. Enough of the privatization. Juliet Kaswa with that message. Juliet, do you work with VALCO? Let me know if you work with them. We've been trying to hear from your side, or hear from your folks as well, as far as their concerns are concerned. But all calls that we've made so far have proven futile. So, I mean, you may want to also prompt your officials or your leaders in that regard so that we can actually have the conversation with them. Otherwise, we can't just say that he's telling lies. No, we can't actually say that. It's important you also clarify issues. Sweet from home or sweet home sweets. Class FM. Nobody wants to travel for traveling's sake, but the condition necessitates it. If the government allocates some money or money for startup, which will be interest free for some times to pay back. Some of us have tried to start our own businesses but couldn't due to financial challenges. Edson from Sapperman with that message. Edson, I understand you. Sometimes it can get frustrating, but let's keep on trying. Yeah, let's just try. Hi, Charles. This issue you have raised is of two sides. What course are we reading in the universities and for what job? One, the individual who come out of the university, the question is what job are they going into the university to come and do? There are factory hand jobs all over, but they won't do it because of pride. Even someone completing university can even teach in preschool or JHS using simple grammar and attitude. How can you say you completed university but can't even construct a simple sentence and essay? Number two, it's high time those going into the universities knew that going to university doesn't guarantee your job security. Francis inside Accra with that message. Sometimes people think traveling outside the country is the only way to make money, and if we know the kind of hate they have for us, you'll prepare well before you go there. Okay, a lot of your messages. Good morning, Charles. Charles, please, it's true. We Bolt drivers, we are suffering, paying 30% for every trip. It looks like no leaders want to listen to us. From Israel, Jidula, from Tema, Newtown, Israel. We'll get the authorities to actually speak to this issue. 30% to the ride-hailing app company, and then you pay also for the work and pay, because the vehicles that you are using, they are on work and pay basis, isn't it? You pay to them, and then whatever is left is what you take home. It's a sad one. You say that we are all sick in this country. You think you are being careful, but you lie. If you go to the hospital these days, some sickness, they'll tell you, you don't even have an idea where that's coming from. What the doctor will tell you is eat well. What at all will we eat now to be well? For all who you know is you are eating, or for all you know is you are eating well, but you lie. Now everything is FDA approved. This scrap dealers, you go on to say that these scrap dealers have to be dealt with because they remove the metals that have been used to cover the gutters. Okay, all right. So I think you are contributing to the earlier subject matter that we're discussing on the program. Good morning. External migration was tackled by the NDC manifesto team. Yes, I recall that. And the Ministry of Labour and Labour Relations was assigned the responsibility of oversighting the travel and tour agencies. Kindly call them to educate us on how they are oversighting these agencies. Davisena with that message. Davisena definitely would try and work the lines and see if we can get to talk to them. But I recall that the NDC manifesto actually dealt with these things. It's important that we go back from time to time and look at some of these campaign promises and strategies that were outlined in the various campaign manifestos of the various political parties in terms of dealing with this growing incessance and penchant of wanting to travel out of the country, and these travel agencies taking advantage of you. So that is a point well taken, and let me say a special good morning to you. And on that note, let me also say special good morning going out to you, Madam Sylvia Asana Owu of the Ghana Shippers Authority. I understand you guys are a fan of the Class Morning Show. It's good to know that you're always tuned in. And yesterday, we heard all the contributions that you made from afar. It's good to know that you listen to the Class Morning Show every morning, right here on the Class 91.3 FM. Let me do a few of your messages before my guests would actually come in. And my brother, Amia Edujemfi, is also here, and we'll just delve into a few things briefly before my guests actually come in. Teacher Kujo Tepa Enyina Susu. It's not surprising that the economic indicators being presented by President Mahama, President Mahama's government appear to have an inverse relationship with the realities many Ghanaians face. While official inflation figures may be declining, the prices of goods and services remain high, and many consumers continue to struggle with the cost of living. The 2028 elections will ultimately be decided by how Ghanaians judge the government's performance, not by campaign rhetoric alone. Greetings to Asantiman Kuka, Honorable Eric Nanajiman Prempe, MP for Ahafo North, and GFK Ano Nanabi. Okay. Right, a lot of your messages at this point. Okay, but you keep them coming. I'll make time to read all of them right here on the Class Morning Show. This is the Class Morning Show with me, Charles Akrofi, and of course, I'm in here with my brother Amiyao Edujimfi. Briefly, Amiyao, the concern we are hearing from these, ride-hailing, if like operators, so to speak. I'm talking about those, Ubers, the Bolts, the Yangos, and what have you. Is that these drivers pay a certain amount of money into, to these companies. They pay 30% to these ride-hailing companies. And then the vehicles or the cars they are using, it is also purchased on work and pay basis. So it means that you have to pay a certain amount, depending on the agreement you have with whoever gave you the vehicle or the car. So you pay a certain amount to them. So you pay about, maybe if the vehicle is in the region, the cost of it is in the region of say 150, 200,000, you are paying something, I'm sure not less than 5,000 plus a month, or depending on the agreement you've had with whoever gave you the vehicle. It's a worrying development, and it appears they say that no one is listening to them, but it should be an industry that government should actually turn an attention to, isn't it?
I think the ride-hailing operators they don't have an authority yet. I think they've not really, I don't know, I stand corrected, but I think the last time that an issue came up regarding transport fares and all these things, and there were complaints, they couldn't really come together to make a point. I think so yes, that industry needs to be regularized or regulated. However, as I'm not an operator in the field, but for the story that they've shared with us, paying 30% to the ride-hailing companies, and then also you do work and pay on the car, and before you even now work to even get your profit and all that, right? I think is for me, I think something needs to be done about it, because then the drivers are working a lot and giving a lot. They are working harder and giving a lot to the hailing companies, and they are not really earning much, with the exception of the fact that they need to pay for the cars and get the cars. When they are finished paying, then the cars belong to them. Then when they are finished paying and the cars are theirs, they still have to use it for their boot or something, or they can use it to do something else.
So I'm just trying to understand the question. So when they are done paying,
the car belongs to them.
So now it's yours. It's yours. You can decide to use it for whatever you want to use it for.
Are you sure?
It's yours.
Is there not a clause that they?
I don't know. Honestly, I've not really checked. What sometimes some of these contracts are, or some of these contract agreements are. But I should believe that once you have paid for the vehicle fully, it becomes yours. Yeah. So you decide primarily what you want to use the vehicle for.
So the question that I will ask them is that the 30% that they are paying to the companies that employ them. I believe that before you even get on this ride-hailing app or whatever it is, you sign a contract or something. So they read before they signed it. So they have, agreed to the terms and conditions already. So except to tell me that the 30% is now an increment, then we can talk about it. I don't know where the 30% is coming from. If it is part of the agreement,
I think it's part of an agreement.
So then I think if you had even established it from the beginning, then I wouldn't have said a lot, because if it is part of the agreement, you have agreed to it. So the complaint doesn't matter, because you have agreed that you pay 30% to the company, and then you also do your work and pay. You have agreed. You didn't protest it.
But the point is that even if you protest it, the point is that there are no jobs. You listen to, or you heard me read a message from the gentleman who says that, look, we are unemployed, and so this is the means by which we can actually survive in the country. And so you have gotten something. The vehicle has been given to you, and you are to use it, and then so that you can raise a certain amount of money every now and then to take care of your family. And the people say that you pay 30% every now and then. The point is that is a 30% not too much? Too much can be relative. I understand. But then again, there are concerns about who regulates the space, who checks what. The DVLA comes in, for instance. So compliance with ride-hailing apps in Ghana is primarily checked by, and regulated by the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, working alongside the Ministry of Transport and National Road Safety Authority.
So how is the DVLA checking them? Because, I mean, the DVLA, do they have that authority to determine whether, I mean, the operations of these?
You are operating within a certain jurisdiction.
I'm asking it
yesterday,
because of, you see, we have the GPRTU. We have, I mean, aside the drivers falling under the mother, I mean, authority.
Government also comes in.
Government.
Exactly the point.
But,
so yesterday, I'm sorry, I'm not cutting you. Yesterday, we had Mr. Okanse here. What's his name? Geoffrey Okanse from Revenue Mobilization Africa. And he made a point that, look, a lot of these ride-hailing apps, the companies are based outside Ghana.
Yes.
And they determine how things should be done here. And who really checks that space in terms of we bringing them into the tax net? All of those things, these are very critical questions that are left hanging, that government needs to really understand or avert itself to, so that, we are able to check the space and ensure that the right things are being done there. Because, look, you can't be somewhere and tell me that I'm operating in your country and this is the amount I want to take at the end of the day. You get it?
Yes.
You are operating within a certain jurisdiction, and so you must subject yourself to the laws and of the people, the laws of the country. You must subject yourself to same. And so it comes back to the issue that we discussed earlier on, that if the regulatory bodies are to be working, we shouldn't be having some of these things. Because if you listen to the gentleman who sent the message, it appears they are helpless. There's nothing really they can do.
They will be helpless. That's why I started with, I mean, the fact that they have signed the agreement in the first place. So you are bound by the agreement. There's nothing you can do. However, if the regulatory body knew, I mean, before this happened, if they knew, then they would have checked the agreement, made the necessary adjustments in favor of the drivers. So I think, I mean, it's something that, well, they can
there's a message here. There's a message here by way of information, and my guests are already seated. I mean, it's already seated. We'll be delving into the big issues this morning. But it says that, good morning, Class FM. The 30% is not part of an agreement between us and the ride-hailing company.
So now it's becoming clear.
They increase the percentages as and when they want. Wow.
So it's becoming clear
because we don't have an upper hand on the decisions they make. They can choose to increase their percentages anytime, and we can't do anything but to be working like that.
Then it now goes to the authority, not the drivers. So the authority needs to step in and check the SSs.
Okay.
Do you understand? So now we need to put pressure on the DVLA, since it's the DVLA that is regulating them. And I don't really know how the DVLA is really going to check it, because the DVLA, I don't know if they have the authority to get in there and say, I mean, like what some George did with DSTV.
Okay.
Yes, that charge this amount or this. Yes. So I think now the responsibility lies with the authority, DVLA, to do something about it. But primarily, that space needs to be strictly checked.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me thank you. But you want to stay in because one of my guests is in studio. But let me take a quick breather here. I'll come and then introduce him to you. This is the Class Morning Show here on Class 91.3 FM. Let me take a breather here. And of course, I need to make the money so that I can. Seated in studios, my brother Jorobon Emmanuel is from the NDC Communications team. We're also expecting a regular panelist on the show, Faisal Banjili, who says he's almost close from the MPP Communications team. Quite a number of things on our table this morning, and so we're just going to be delving in them. Unfortunately, that interview with our finance analyst, Richmond Akpa, I understand he's been caught up in some other emergencies, but definitely he's going to be here. We'll see whether time would actually permit us to actually get into the details with regards to the budget statement, the media budget review statement that was delivered on the floor of Parliament sometime last week. But let's set the ball rolling in terms of our big conversations for today, shall we? And we're talking about three major things. We're talking about the tribunal bill that was passed, or that it's been passed, isn't it? It's been passed, yes. Passed by Parliament. And there's a new poll that suggests that 63% of Ghanaians support the bill. You recall the opposition that met the introduction of the bill in Parliament when the Attorney General brought it before the House, the minority, and of course some people who have monitored the space for some time say that it's going to bring back the dark days of the PNDC era. Really? Is that what it's going to be? And why are 63% of Ghanaians in support of the tribunal bill? We'll delve into that issue shortly. And then there's also commercial transport operators that are threatening to increase transport fare up to 30% because of rising fuel prices. And you understand how the geopolitical issues actually have a play or a stake when it comes to how prices of fuel products in the country are actually determined. But yesterday, as I checked, there's a ceasefire between the Iran and US, so we are seeing a drop in terms of the global oil price in that regard. We are seeing a drop in that regard. We would work the phone lines and try and engage the various transport operators to see whether or not, once it reflects at the pump, they would also translate same into their dealings. And then there's also the growing agitation as government seeks strategic investor for Valco. Let me start off with Jorobon and welcome you. Jorobon, good morning. Welcome to the program. First time?
Yes, please. Good morning, Mr. Charles.
Maybe you would want to readjust. No, okay, so this way.
Is it fine?
Okay, so a technical would have to watch it for me so that you can be audible enough. But it's good to have you on the show. Maybe we can start from we can start with the transport issues, even as we await the coming of Faisal this morning. The transport issues, you are coming from government, you should be concerned first of all, isn't it?
Yes, of course. I think before I begin, let me say a very big good morning to yourself, your producer, and then to your entire listeners as well. I've always maintained that the most difficult profession is journalism. I say so because you have no area of speciality, and that any topic that surfaces, you have no responsibility to dodge it, but you have to face it squarely. And your fidelity is to the truth, that you have to speak the truth to the ordinary Ghanaians or to Ghanaians out there. And so I commend you for the great work you're doing. And before I begin let me say a very big good morning to party executives, especially His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and also the Deputy Communication Director. Said that communicating for government is one another difficult thing, but I think the sanity in it, as and how he coordinates that, and I must commend him for what he is doing. Yes, transport issues. These are matters that basically affect the ordinary Ghanaian, and so. When you're in government and some of these things are coming up, sometimes it's always challenging. But I think that these are always a wake-up call for us. I remember after the media budget was presented, I listened to one of the experts, and he made a very profound submission, of which I actually subscribe to that. That in our cost of buffers, we must also add the fuel buffer, because we can always wait for, as and when Ghana has no idea of what is happening between other country, then the greater effect come on us. And so I think that once we build those buffers, in times like this, the government can always come in and then bring some relief to its people. But if not, continue to rely on this Middle East something, this tripartite war that's happening. And it's as a result of that we are seeing this increment. Because if you look at the components that goes into the increment of fuel, you know that the dollar, the cedi differential against the dollar is one of the components, and then also the world market price. Of course, everybody in Ghana here will bear with me that as for the cedi, when it comes to government responsibility in terms of managing it, that I think is not in doubt. But of course, the world market, you and I have no control over it. and the reason why we're seeing this increment. I also heard you say that yesterday started, declining. But also, how can we trust that? We've seen that happen. So it turns out that there's a fluctuation in terms of aid movement. Today we see it declining, then the next day just a statement, then we see the uprise. And
it's just a ceasefire. It doesn't mean they've stopped.
Precisely. And you see, what happened is that the impact as and when it begins to rise marginally is always high as compared to when there's a reduction. And I think that we need to take a cue from all of this thing. I want to really empathize with most Ghanaians that this is not what anybody will wish for. But I mean, once it has come, the government should take drastic measures. I understand the first time we did some cushioning where we took away some of the levies that are on it. But those levies sometimes is also very insignificant. And so I think that finding a long-term solution would be the best way to go. That we should build more buffers when it comes to our fuel. Of course, because for any economy, especially the kind of economy we practice here that is import driven, we need to be careful, or we need to have some buffers around some of this thing going forward. Say that once we are hit with some of this crisis, because we are innocent about it, but we turn out that we will suffer for it. So, Charles, if you ask me about the fuel prices, it's not anything anybody anticipate for it, but I think that the government is on course, and anything the government can do within its possible best to make sure that relief come to its citizens at the end of the day. I think the NDC government, under the leadership of Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will consider that appropriate.
Okay, so like I told you earlier on yesterday, I was doing a bit of research, and this is what I found on Bloomberg, and it's reporting that, and I did this research sometime around 9 p.m. thereabouts. And so yesterday, with regards to the ceasefire between the two countries, we began seeing oil prices dropping by some 6% as traders bet that a pause in U.S. attacks on Iran could prevent an escalation in the conflict that would further restrict global supply. So Brent crude, the international benchmark for oil, fell 6% to below $91 a barrel on Monday. That's yesterday morning. And after briefly dropping below $90 earlier, the same morning, futures prices hit $100 last week when the Iran-aligned Houthis attacked Saudi Arabian oil tankers in the Red Sea. I mean, you look at you made a very important call. I mean, important points. And it's not the first time I'm hearing it in terms of our buffers to hedge against some of the geopolitical repercussions as we are seeing now. That call has been made several times. I've heard it, and not just from your quarters, not just from party folks, but I am not pushing you to talk to the issues as though you are an expert, but what is lacking? Why are we not able to build the kind of buffers that we want so that we don't really subject ourselves to, or we don't really real or suffer from all of those repercussions as far as all those geopolitical issues are concerned? Because at the end of the day, it is about us here in Ghana. Why should something that is happening far away in Iran and all of those countries have deep or big effect on us here as a country or as a people?
So I think basically that has to do with intentionality of a policy, because we were all in this country where we saw toll, in its needs for so many years. But I think now, once there's that intention of reviving it, we've seen that toll is at work again. And like I said, Atofosna has demonstrated for us to understand that there's nothing impossible in Ghana here. I say
well, so. What has Atu done?
Yeah, I say so because if you look at some of the buffers of built vis-a-vis with the sinking fund. Remember in the year 2016 when the NDC was leaving power, the sinking fund accumulated a whopping amount of $390 million US. But when our colleagues came, they depleted that, and as and when they were signing off office in the year 2025, you know how much was in that reserve? $64,000. And as though that is not enough, if you look at the CD account as well, the NDC in the year 2016 left an amount of 430 million Ghana cedis. The MPP came and they could only leave us with an amount of 190 million Ghana cedis. And within the space of, say, 15 months, he's able to build a buffer that is able to withstand, how will I say, a very pernicious bond commitment that our previous government subjected us to. Remember, just last year alone, he paid about 9 billion Ghana cedis. So what the point I'm driving at is that if there is a deliberate intention of making sure we create buffers, we might not get the results this year. And one thing I've always observed within the African space is that we don't believe or we don't subscribe to the long-term policies. We always believe in just, dealing with the matter surfacely, vis-a-vis with what we call the short-term medium policy, of which is not the best. Imagine if we say we want to build a buffer in the next 4 years. If this idea have been nurtured somewhere 2020, by now we wouldn't have this conversation. We always believe that those features, those things cannot hit us in the future. But if you look at the occurrences, like I've always told somebody, nobody ever imagined the year 2018 that there will come a day or a year that will be hit with COVID-19. Fully up with Russia war. Then, as we thought we were going out from those things, then only to be hit with what we call a tripartite war, Russia, Iran, and the USA, and that is having a greater effect on us. So I'm of the view that the missing link there is we don't put so much effort in making sure that we create those buffers. If not, they are not beyond us. I think, like we are saying, do you ever imagine that in our books we will say that we want to build what we call an expressway, of which we are even committing, we've even made allocation of about $1.7 billion as and when we've not even awarded the contract. It tells you that once that mindset is there, we're able to create that. And so for me, I think that government should pick it up there, because these are things that affect the ordinary Ghanaian on daily basis. And once a transport fares begin to go up, the one who's going to pick his goods will certainly also increase the goods and services, and that has a cascading effect. It trickles down to every component within our. It's the reason why inflation is down. But if you want to dig deep, the service sector is increasing marginally. And for me, I think, and those are the things that affect the ordinary Ghanaian. Of course, government has done so well in making sure that it is not like as compared in the past, but we can still do more. And so, my brother, if you ask me the missing link, I would say that deliberateness has always not been our main priority. And once we focus on that, we will definitely do that, because Atu has paved the way, and I can go on and give you a plethora of examples. But like I was just mentioning the case of the sinking fund. Today, as I tell you, we'll be hit.
Was in the sinking fund as at the time you exited in 2016?
The dollar account.
Yes.
The dollar account, that was that was $390 million.
$319
million as at against when we took over office, that was around $64,000.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll come back to that, because I have some questions in that regard, but we'll stay on the substantive issues, and clad in his beautiful party apparel. He joins us in studios. Faisal Banjili, who says I shouldn't call him Alaji, but I'm always tempted to say Alaji. Faisal, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You are caught up in traffic?
Yes, some traffic on my way coming. Charles, I've not said that I'm not allergic.
No.
I'm allergic, but you see,
you want to be simple.
The thing is that many people think that every Muslim is allergic. So if you don't even take your time, the allergy becomes your name instead of your own given name. But definitely, I've no problem with that. It's one of the major pillars of Islam, and thank God, about 9 years ago, I had the opportunity to perform Hajj. So I'm allergic, but I prefer being called Faisal.
So you are allergic for 9 years. Charlie, it's not an easy feat, Charlie. It's an achievement. Well, let me welcome you.
Thank you very much.
We've already started a conversation, and we started off with the proposed or the plan by the various transport unions to increase transport fares to some 30%. Looking at how things have played out, on the international front, we're talking about the Iran-US conflict and what have you. So, per my last check, petrol was doing something in the region of 14 cedis per liter. And then diesel is in the region of 18, with speculations that, perhaps it could even hit 20 Ghana cedis by end of the week. We are told by the likes of Duncan Amwa and co. But when you listen to Jorobon and co, pretty much what we are witnessing is not as though government hasn't done anything really to address the situation. All what we are doing is that government successively over the period have failed to build the buffers to hedge against some of these geopolitical tensions. And so once we are witnessing what we are witnessing at the international front, i.e. the conflict between US and Iran, we are where we are. And so at this point in time, the transport operators would have to tone down a bit and listen to government. Where do you stand?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. And let me also say good morning to you, my colleague here. This is my first time of meeting.
That's a colleague, a regular. He's actually from our online department.
Okay,
that's my online news editor.
That's good. That's good. It's nice meeting all of them. Yes. Petroleum issues and politics relating to petroleum issues, has been with us for some time. And for me personally, if you look at what is happening, it kind of exposes the hypocrisy in our politics. If you were to play back what Jeroboam and co were saying pre-2024, it will tell you, they were on the side of the transport unions, because at some point they were also raising concerns about prices and other factors. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and they are kind of trying to reason with the transport operators. The fact is that over the years, we have come to realize that prices of petroleum products are determined by a lot of factors, some of them external factors. You understand? And some politicians have always made it their business. Anytime prices are going up, they blame the ruling government. And anytime prices are low, just like at some point, the international price went down. Inflation was also down. The exchange rate also came down. And you heard the apologies of the government going about saying that Atu is forcing. Atu is forcing. You understand?
It's not forcing for you.
Time is exposing. It's exposing the facts for all of us to realize that. Government has little, or they don't have so much control when it comes to prices of some of these products, because we have talked about the Iran-US conflict, which is also impacting on the prices. But some 2 years ago, when Ukraine and Russia also had their own issues, and the then government was complaining. They said, no. These are external issues. Ukraine is several miles away from Ghana. How in the hell is their conflict going to affect, affect prices of goods and services in this country? There's another conflict, Iran, US, and Israel. Now you want Ghanaians to we want Ghanaians to sympathize with you by trying to kind of say that the conflict is what is impacting on the prices of. That is quite unacceptable.
But
politicians must be consistent.
I get it. But how do you explain? Let's look at the two issues.
Yeah.
How do you explain to the ordinary Ghanaian that whatever is happening between, or was happening between Ukraine and Russia, is affecting prices here in Ghana? When we talk about the prices of oil on the market, and of course you do know that a chunk of these oil, go through the Strait of Hormuz and all of that, and all of these things would actually have a trickle down effect in terms of how we price our stuff here in the country. That is established. But how then do you explain to the ordinary Ghanaian that what is happening at Ukraine and Russia is having an effect here? Let's establish the base.
What we may not know is that, you see, the international economy is kind of related to
it's a global world.
You understand? For instance, I was made to understand that we get a lot of our wheat and other agricultural products from that region. You understand? Including fertilizer, which is quite key, very, very key as far as the production of agriculture sector is concerned. You understand? So all of these things certainly will have some effects on the economy of a third world country like ours.
But not entirely.
How do you determine the extent?
These are just few
How do you determine the extent? You understand? I'm sitting here. I'm not an expert to tell you the extent, but definitely it affected every economy in the third world, including even some of the advanced economies. So I'm saying, I mean, if yesterday exogenous factors were not to be impacted on our economy, today how do you want me to believe that what is happening? More especially, we are told that even the oil that passes through the Strait of Hormuz is about 30%. Ghana, the layman will tell you that we produce oil in Ghana. So how can the production or the transportation or haulage of some 30% of the global supply of oil in far away, Iran, affect the prices of fuel in this country? I mean, who will understand that? And beyond that, let me also, I mean, what the transport owners are, the transport unions are saying that not only the fuel, there are a lot of factors that goes into the pricing, I mean, of fares. You understand? Some will tell you that even spare parts and other things. And this also exposes the fact that the inflation, they say, is now 3 what?
It's gone up marginally, isn't it?
It's 5.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the beginning of it
so
was
it declined.
3.2.
It declined, yes, to
so
3.
now
2,
it's 5
3.3 thereabout.
something. 5.4%, and it tells you that also has an impact on prices of goods and services. And the transport unions are saying that a lot of factors. So it tells you that the kind of economy our friends are projecting really may not be, I mean, the reality on the ground. Because if prices of goods and services are coming down, why would transport owners just decide to increase for nothing? It tells you that the whole thing may not be as we are made to believe.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Yes.
We spoke to the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association.
Okay.
And when we're talking about all these macroeconomic indicators and the improvements in same, you would expect that this would also trickle down to the ordinary Ghanaian.
Yes.
In terms of prices of goods and services, so that our lots are bettered, so to speak. We spoke to the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association when this issue about spare parts being expensive in the country came up. And we spoke to the PRO here. And the PRO was quite emphatic and told us that, look, when you come to Abosokai, spare parts, their prices have been reduced. But for some few people who are playing politics and say that, well, it is not my government, at the end of the day, it is a free market. So I decide on how I price my product. No government can come and do anything. And indeed, it is a free market. So are you saying that when you say the picture government seems to be painting to us as far as the performance of the economy is concerned, it leaves much to be desired? Are you doubting the figures? Are you doubting, for instance, inflation 5.4 and all of that? Or perhaps you would want to agree with those who say that perhaps we become so political in nature and so we are not allowing ourselves to really benefit from the impact of all these improvements?
Definitely. I don't have the capacity to doubt any figures, but I'm saying that beyond the figures, you and I live the reality every day. And the business people at Obosokai, you see, I disagree respectfully with the assertion of the PRO. The fact of the matter is that it's a free market economy. You understand? People cannot be pricing their product based on politics. It doesn't work that way. The person over there also want to sell and then restock.
You know, there are those who would want to create disaffection for the government of the day.
I really. When they had issues under every government, they've always raised their issues. You understand? So let us not find clever way of explaining it away. There are issues, and it is for duty bearers to go to the ground and then find out what the real issues are, rather than throwing these figures. You know, even some time back, our friends used to say that, I mean, people don't eat inflation figures, they don't eat.
And you also say same to them now.
So, well, as to whether they have started eating the figures, I can't tell. But what I'm trying to say is that You see, if you find that particular situation, you go to the ground and find out, and then you find a way of addressing it. There is something fundamentally wrong, and that is what they need to find out and address. But if you continue to say that, oh, inflation is this, exchange rate is coming down, I mean, all the macroeconomic figures are pointing towards positive direction, and yet the average Ghanaian cannot feel it, then there must be a problem. There must be, because there has to be a relationship. If those figures that are being projected everywhere is actually something to go, but then practically people should feel it. And the ordinary Ghanaians are those complaining. Right now, if wages, government is not interested in looking at wages, and yet transport unions are proposing to increase transportation fare by 30%, then it's going to bring a lot of hardship to many Ghanaians who use their services.
Okay, I see Jorobon, you appear you want to react to a number of issues, but time is not on our side. Yeah, time is not on our side. So maybe I'm just going to share the time, but I would have to move on to... I'll give you time. Don't worry.
You have more time.
I'll give you time. I'll give you time.
So you had so much.
No, not that I had so much.
You had a full day.
No,
I couldn't even react to some of the.
You
were saying that you have.
I'll give you time. I'll give you time. Okay. I promise you. I'll give you time.
Okay.
But let me just make money briefly. Sometimes big moments start with small things: a call to a loved one, a Momo transaction to support family, a bundle to grow your business. And but what if, this could lead to something bigger than you ever imagined? So with the MTN at 30 promo, every call, every text, every browse, every Momo transaction, every connection to home fiber, and every activity on the My MTN app earns you points towards amazing rewards, including 9 brand new Toyota Land Cruiser Prados, over 10 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes, and an unforgettable experience just for you, because every move counts. Just dial star 530 star that's star 530 hash, or use the My MTN app to participate now, and let's stay connected everywhere you go. MTN at 30 promo, make every move count. T's and C's apply. Now, are you ready to reveal your fortune? Reveal Scratch for Win is here to change your life for good. You want to dial star 850 star 5 hash and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis in more in cash prizes instantly. It's easy, it's exciting, and it's regulated by the National Lottery Authority. Star 850 star 5 hash is a short code. You choose your station to play the game on. Select stake amount between 5 Ghana cedis and 2,000 Ghana cedis. Choose your lucky card out of 5 options. Confirm gameplay and enter your Momo pin. Receive your game results and winnings instantly. It's easy, fun, and exciting. So get ready to scratch, win, and live your best life with Reverse Scratch for Win. Up to 1 million Ghana cedis up for grabs. Star 850 star 5 hash is the short code to play. Reverse Scratch for Win. Scratch Chikeke Nedi Sikase Bam. Reveal is strictly for persons 18 years and above. And Reverse Scratch for Win is powered by Super Cash Games. It's not a Class Morning Show, right? On Class 91.3 FM. Jorobon, let me come back to you, and I'll give you ample time to respond to the issues, but then we'll have to move on to the other issues. So maybe this is just a response. Otherwise, we cannot respond to issues and we will not, finish. So let me just give you maybe a minute to respond.
The important thing is that I hear our colleagues always try to say that the NDC in the past was complaining about that the Russia-Ukraine war and the COVID-19 did not have an impact on the Ghanaian economy. And that narrative has gone down well almost Ghana, but it's not the case. The NDC at the time never said that the exogenous factors did not have an impact on the Ghanaian economy.
Really?
Yes, what we were saying is that the government at the day leveled everything to the doorsteps of COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war and making it the low-hanging fruit. And we're telling them that no, like my brother rightly mentioned here, the component that goes into the determination of fuel or this petroleum product, you and I know that there is one that nobody has a control over, which is the world market price. The other one has to do with the strength of your Ghanaian cedi against major currencies across the world. What was the scorecard of the Ghanaian cedi under your time? Before you left over, it had depreciated 19%. So what we are telling you is that you imagine the Ghanaian cedi to 15 Ghanaian cedi to $1. Compared to how much we have been buying fuel today. That is the clear difference. And in any case, as and when we were hit with this exogenous factors, we had various reputable institutions across the length and breadth of the world giving you support. A typical example, the IMF made available to you $1 million by what we call the rapid credit facility. And when you had that money, you still went ahead to get another $1 billion US dollars. So cumulatively from the IMF alone, the NPP benefited $2 million. But you know the funny thing, after all of this, we still went under an ICU to IMF looking for $3 million. I'm not brought what the World Bank gave you about $400 million. You went to a parliament and passed an act of...
The economy of Ghana was plagued by COVID-19.
It was what?
It was plagued by COVID-19. And a lot needed to be done by government in terms of bringing back. That's why the president then said that we know how to bring back the economy to shape, but the lives that are lost.
Precisely. And the good thing is that, you see, this explanation will have sufficed if COVID-19 only affected Ghana. But this was a pandemic, global effect. And we have our neighbor countries around. And you know what? I've always said that, look, if we want anybody who's a bigger beneficiary when it comes to this, our micro indicator, it is none other but their flag bearer, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who introduced these figures in our body politics. Isn't that the one? Comparing Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire and telling us that...
This is not the first time. This is not the first time we've ever made comparison. So
no, I've listened to it. I'm saying that if you're looking for a prominent political person who amplified that, but it's not about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Okay, well, that's your position.
That is it. We saw in the year 2015, when he was mounting lecture. What was they saying? Basically touting figures here and there. Today, when we want to tell them that this is what is happening, then they want to question us that we don't eat figures. But like I've told you, look, you see, the good thing is that today, every Ghanaian can even challenge the status quo. It is the reason why even media men have to go to Abuso to ascertain why there's a good performance of the Ghanaians against the dollar. But we are still seeing prices. And you clearly mentioned what the PRO said. I've equally heard him. There are people within the industry who, by their own parochial interest, want to sabotage government effort. That is where I call on the trade minister that, look, in as much as we are operating a free market system, but there come a time that we should not allow for people to go under the guise of...
What can she do?
No, I mean, why? She can do something.
What can she do?
The point is that if...
She can only plead with them, isn't it? Like she did.
So I'm saying that if we have a very sanitized system, such that we know every individual in the Busukai how much you need to sell this thing per unit, you cannot go in essence just because it's an open market. If you are doing that, we're able to feature out. You should give you some cost. Either we close your shop or whatsoever.
No, but can government really do that? You see, that's why I was asking, what really can the minister do? Because of course, like he said, it's a free market. The minister months ago, we saw her, to Abusoka in some market centers, and literally pleading with the folks that, look, government is doing its bit, so let it reflect on the prices of your product on the market. I can understand if perhaps the call is placed on their unions, okay, maybe the Abusokai Workers Union, and then the leaders tell them that, look, this is what we want to do. Nobody is going to increase the prices of maybe a ball joint,
so
for
that's
instance.
one of the options.
So I'm just saying that lies at the doorstep of their union, not necessarily government.
So yes, but at the end of the day, remember that government has a negotiation with the union.
Definitely.
So what I'm saying is that are you telling me that the union, they don't have rules and regulations?
That's what I just pointed out to you. That the union can do something.
So I'm saying that if the minister engages the union also have their people, and they will tell them that, look, this is how much we are purchasing the thing outside there. So when we come home, at least it should be within this range. Not as you, your own whims and caprices, that as and when it pleases you, you want to give a price tag on this item. That's the point I'm making.
Okay.
So I'm saying that, look, we've seen this example on and on and on, that the government today of the day, everybody knows that the government has done its part. It's just that we are questioning the interest of the individuality. One time I was going to Kumasi when I purchased the bread. I asked the woman, what are the things that goes into the bread making? She mentioned the flour and then sugar. And all those things have seen a significant reduction. But what would be the cost for the increment? So that's a broader conversation we can still have.
Okay.
But the point I'm making is that there's a clear distinction.
Okay.
The component for which government is supposed to play it part, where we are talking about the CD differential. You and I know here, sitting on this table, knows very well that the NDC government today has brought some value, and is the reason why we have seen an appreciation of the Ghanaian value, like the Ghanaian cedi against the United States dollar, 40%, and this time it's moving around 39%, marginal reduction, and that is a good news.
Okay, I wish I can start the next one with you, so but no, because it would interest you. It would interest you to listen to his submission so that you can come back, and the next one has got to do with the tribunal bill.
Yes.
So when it was passed by the House, in fact, when it was even introduced in the House, the NPP, by extension, I'm talking about the minority, but the NPP by extension, has had cause to say that, look, the tribunal bill that we have, evils of yesteryears is what is going to resurrect, and so they don't want it. Government says that, well, we have backlog of cases at the traditional court, so we are introducing this to expedite, the prosecution of these cases in that manner. But here we are. There's a new poll by Global Info Analytics which says that 63% of Ghanaians say that they are in support of the tribunal bill. And strangely or surprisingly, 45% of members, if you check the chart that was released by Musa Dankwa, 45% of those, MPP, say that they are in support of it. Does it come to you as a surprise? Your people support it.
Just before I
Silently.
come to that, let me indicate that, what happened during the COVID era? Of course, government had a lot of support, external support, to kind of solve the problem. So, Jabon, you may remember that during the peak of the COVID, when there was lockdown, government of Ghana had to pay the salary of public sector workers without them going to work. Utility bills were settled, you understand. And this was huge, you understand. So to just now try to say that, we had a lot of support and we could not manage it well, may look quite unfair. It is important for us to also understand. I heard you mention that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in the run-up to 2016 elections, used to compare the economy of Cote d'Ivoire and that of Ghana. It's just fair. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia didn't start it. Just that he was very good at doing it. And a lot of people admired the way he was making his presentations. And it won't be long, he will start again. Because if you look at what is happening in the country, things are not going in the right direction. And it is always important that someone comes out with an alternative. That is why we have a multi-party democracy. You understand? There has to always be an alternative for the people to make their choices. And Charles, coming back to your subject, the tribunal, you can always trust Musa Dankwa for any pools. You understand? So, practically he has looks like they are already made. So anytime there's a topical issue, you just hit a button and then the results pop up. But on a very serious note, it is quite strange. He will come out with a figure like this. A lot of people are not happy with the tribunal system, and unfortunately, you mentioned it. During the dark days of the PNDC, tribunals were established largely to persecute perceived political opponents. And I tell you what, you see, these tribunals have no good records. You know what they do? Most of the judges will be laymen. They will be laymen. If you go and check the history of the trials of the tribunals, was there a time that they had no guilty verdict? That can be justice. Because in a democratic or in a constitutional dispensation, there are traditional courts, you understand, where lawyers who are trained and are called to the bench man this established court system. And anytime somebody is accused, like they say, the lawyers will say, the person will have his day in court, and the person is given the opportunity. He has a right to a lawyer of his choice, and he is given a forum where he is listened to. Now, if you look at what happened during the tribunal, a lot of people were executed. People were pronounced guilty and condemned to death by firing squad. Some were kind of given life imprisonment sentences. And I think that we have practiced democracy for about 33 years going. Talking about the Fourth Republic. And a lot of people are satisfied with the current arrangement. Of course, people have raised issues about lack of, adequate courts, lack of adequate number of judges. And like Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, our leader, made a proposal that when you find a situation like that, what you do, you expand. When Nana Akufo-Addo came, Nana Akufo-Addo, being a lawyer for so many years, he realized that there was a problem. And he built about 100 courts. We can continue to expand. We can continue to employ more judges. You understand? We can digitalize the court system. You go to court today, people still take, they still write, proceedings are still being written by people. Technology has made some of these things so simple that you can record it and then it is typed out word for word. You understand? So these are the approaches we have proposed. But to say that we should go back to the days of the tribunals, that can be good. Because you see, sometimes I'll keep saying that you may have parliamentary majority, but it doesn't mean that you should pass pardon my French, every useless law. Now, when you call Kwame Nkrumah, or when you are talking about Kwame Nkrumah, people talk about the PDA.
And you want to make the point in less than a minute for the time.
And I'm saying that the PDA is one of the stains of Nkrumah's record, his domestic records in this country. But it was also passed by Parliament in 1958 also. You understand? So we have to be very careful. When you are proposing something like this and people are giving you advice, they are advising that let's do it this way. And you think that because I have absolute majority, I'm going to do what I like. Well, at the end of the day, because right now, President Mahama is in his last term, even though our friends are, because they don't have a good candidate, they say that he should come for a third term. We are saying that it is an opportunity for him to correct some of the records he made in the last time. The last time he was a president. Okay. And issues like this definitely will, history will not be kind to him if at the end of the day he's able to, he assents to a law like this. It doesn't help as far as the democratic development of this country or the issue of the rule of law is concerned. Ghana Bar Association is against it. TUC is against it. A lot of interest groups are against it. So it tells you that that's a red flag. Okay. You need to kind of put it in the back burner.
All right, then. That's Faisal Banjali from the MPP Communications team. Let me hear you, Jorobon.
Yes, I think Mr. Charles. So unfortunately, time
hasn't been on our side this morning.
But I'll try and just do just.
So I'm giving you the next 5.
That's fine. So you see, I am personally confused as a Ghanaian. The second one is I'm confused as a politician because the very thing we complain that those are the components that can really give us a good democracy. When we begin executing those things, then the narrative that come out, especially within our opponent, sometimes is so disheartening. I say so because prior to every election cycle, various reputable institutions like the Ghana Statistical Service, we are talking about the Afrobarometer report, even other individual research like Global Info Analytics, they go to the ordinary Ghanaian to find out the things or the very things they look out for in voting. One of the things we want to mention, the 2-3, that cannot be left out is corruption. And everybody in Ghana here knows that the manner at which our corrupted related cases are dealt with at the court system is not of best. It is the reason why many are losing trust within the kind of democracy we are practicing. So there has been this call all over that we need to expand our court system so that we can be able to deal with these matters. Mr. Charles sitting there and my good brother sitting here knows the enormous backlog of cases that are happening. And you see, this tribunal in the first place is not a novelty. It is not a conjecture of the NDC that is bringing this thing. And with your permission, I want to, for purpose of time, I just want to quote for you Article 11 or Chapter 11 of the Ghanaian Constitution, Article 126. And this is what it says: that the judiciary system shall consist of A, the Superior Court of Judicature, comprising I, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, and regional tribunals. So I wanted to establish for myself that if you and I believe in the Constitution that we all want to use as our manual, the Constitution explicitly makes the provision of tribunals.
So, but why is it implemented now?
Just give me.
Okay, I thought you were talking to me.
The constitution makes mention of this. So the only thing the NDC is doing that we are giving an effect of a constitutional provision. But I heard my brother very well. He's talking about a tribunal that existed in the PNDC era. Without not averting his mind to the new bill before Parliament, wanted to find out, does it really have something to do? Is there a nexus that you can draw from the old tribunal vis-a-vis this one? And look, this particular bill, my brother, has so many safeguards. What are we saying? It's like the argument they make is to suggest that, okay, we have a regional hospital, we have teaching hospital, then there's no need for us to continue to build checks compound and health compound. That's what basically they're saying. These are the hierarchies as far as the judicial system is concerned. So if today the constitution makes mention of this, having to deal with the Supreme Court, having to deal with the Court of Appeal, having to establish the High Court, having to establish the District Court, why are we not establishing the tribunal? Just because of the name tribunal, when you hear it, then you echo it back to a tribunal that existed some time ago, and you want to juxtapose that against this one and want to say that it is no good. I think that should not be the conversation. But the conversation is that we should look at the rationale behind this tribunal. And what is the rationale? The rationale is simply say that to offload the enormous workload on the existing court, to also bring justices to the people. And my brother, if you look at the composition of, or if you look at the methodology for which people were appointed to this tribunal, it is lifted verbatim from what we call the Article 146 of the Chapter 11 into the tribunal bill. He says that it is going to be a layman. It is not the case. We are telling you that the one who is going to lead this tribunal is going to be coterminous to that of a high court judge. All these things explicitly are stated there. So what we are basically saying is that what are the matters it is going to deal with? Anybody who involves himself in what we call tax irregularities, the tribunals will deal with you. Anybody that deals with what we call mining activities, the tribunal will deal with you. But what the tribunal cannot do, the tribunal cannot try a matter involving treason case. The tribunal will not deal with a matter calling human rights case. The tribunal will not trial a matter of constitutional distance. So at every stage of distance, there's a particular case for which the tribunal can handle. So my good brothers, do not echo your mouth, do not reflect your mind to the tribunal that existed in the PNDC era, but take your time, go through this particular bill. It is a bill that, first of all, will help us to fast track our court system. And you know the good thing, they tell you that once you have been accused and you have been served a letter, 7 days time you must appear. They do case management. You are hearing this 42 good days. There should be a judgment. And that is what we have been calling for. If not, the current court system we are practicing, you and I know that some case can last as much as more than 10 years. Is that what we're calling for? Look at the cases of the cases pending. You remember in the case of one oral, we set up oral. Even the respectable Dom Levo was questioning the pace at which oral was going. And we all know that we have technical lawyers who exploit every legality to want to prolong the matter. So I think every Ghanaian should embrace this tribunal because that is going to clean or sanitize our system for us. And I think we can strengthen the democracy you and I want. Thank you.
Okay, I think my time is up. My time is up, actually. Yes. Ideally, by this time, I should have signed off. So time is it on our side. Maybe let's do this. The two of you Thursday. Yes, maybe the two of you. Let's have you back in studios this Thursday, depending on your schedules. Then we can have time, and delve into the issues deeper. Or maybe we'll look at a later date and reschedule the two of you to be here this morning. But let me thank you, gentlemen, for the time this morning. Jorobon Emmanuel is from the NDC Communications team. And of course, Alaji Faiza Banjili is also from the MPP Communications team. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. Maybe let me do a few of your messages. Erica, good morning to you. You say, good morning, Class FM. Ghanaians are wicked. There's reduction in oil and beans, the prices of same, etc. Yet watch sellers say they will sell it for 10 cedis and above. I know, right? I love my watching, but so when you go there, how the development, of the country has been is not reflective of same. Charlie, it worries anyway. So that came from Erica inside Gulf City. Okay, we like the Tribunal Act. That's what you say. Good morning, Class FM. If the rider closer to you is 35%. If the ride is 35%. If the rider is far, like 3 to 4 minutes or 3 to 4 kilometers, is 30%. Those are some of the messages I've received here so far. But are you ready to reveal your fortune? Reveal Scratch for Win is here to change your life for good. Without star 850 star 5 hash and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes or more. So it is star 850 star 5 hash to play the game. You choose your station to play the game on, i.e. Class FM. Select stake amount between 5 Ghana cedis and 2,000 Ghana cedis. You choose your lucky card out of 5 options. Confirm gameplay and enter your Momo pin. You receive your game results and win instantly. It's easy, fun, and exciting. So you want to get ready, scratch, win, and live your best life with reverse scratch for win. Up to 1 million Ghana cedis up for grab. So the short code one more time is star 850 star 5 hash. Reverse scratch for win. Scratchy keke nidi sika say bam. And on that note, that's how I draw the curtain on today's edition of the Class Morning Show. Thanks for being a part of the program, and many thanks to the production team led by Norinda Irajwa Kranchi. And let me thank you, my gentlemen in the studio. And of course, the conversation can keep on going. You want to stick and stay with us right on Class 91.3 FM. And tomorrow, we're going to be back with another edition of the Class Morning Show. Up next is News at 10 with Norinda Irajwa Kranchi. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Good morning.